Scotty doesn't know that Johnny's getting fat, eating caniacs, drinking Diet Coca-Cola on the podcast known as
Trapped Under Plastic, the science podcast that proudly covers topics trapped under plastic.
Oh, that was so great.
You got yours right in the first fucking hit, and I fuck up reading. No, I'm sure Alex will cut all this. Trapped Under Plastic, the science podcast that proudly covers all topics from emergency deuces to diamond juices.
Yeah, baby. Wait, what are the diamond juices?
Bro, that's when, the lasers.
Oh,
you gotta melt down the diamonds.
Yes, the diamonds.
For the diamond juices to shoot through the lasers.
Yeah, so John, here's a question for you. Did you get the reference in the intro? There were two.
Well, Scotty doesn't know.
Yes.
I caught that.
Euro Trip?
It's from Euro Trip.
Yes.
The other one was familiar. It felt like a Willy Wonka thing, but
It's a reference to a song called Unholy by Sam Pierce. It just follows that same melody using different lyrics.
okay. No, I did not get that.
1 point for the fucking tickler, baby!
Yeah,
Put me
geez.
on the board, coach!
Who is this this singer you're talking about? Is this fucking
Sam Pierce.
This fucking singer-songwriter from the late 70s?
No, absolutely not. This song came out this year.
Oh, okay. That's why I don't know.
It's a current pop artist.
That's why I don't know.
fucking lame music. All right, on to the Preamble Ramble. This entire episode may very well be a Preamble Ramble of sorts.
Yeah, so we're gonna be preambling all the way through this thing. So to keep this thing under 6 hours, do you have any quick preambles that are not related to the future rambles?
Boy, howdy, do I. First of all, we'll start on a positive note. Played my escalation game of Age of Sigmar yesterday against Alex Davey of Fantasy Flight fame. He's one of the X-Wing developers.
His name sounds like somebody that should be famous.
I know, yeah. He was on that game, I think, during that brief stint where X-Wing was more popular than 40K as per this survey that goes out every year.
Fuck yeah.
I don't really even know what that survey is or how accurate it is, but it's kind of regarded as an industry standard thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I played him. I won the game, but it didn't feel good. I felt like I was kind of playing his game, but I still won. I wasn't rolling particularly well. I wasn't rolling bad. It was pretty average. But I kind of just sat on the objectives and he just shot me. And I was like, well, you need to score points to win the game.
That's a good point.
I'm just going to get shot.
It's not a game of who kills the most shit.
Yeah, so that's kind of what it came down to. Whatever, win's a win. Now, on to the significantly sadder story. So I paint my Greyjoy models one at a time because I'm a loser. But it's fun to take my time.
It's more fun.
It's more fun, yeah. Especially that most of them are characters, so that makes sense, right? And so for my Greyjoy army, I had those little custom basing inserts that I cast. And so I was going to, yesterday I was starting, no, it was 2 days ago at this point. I was going to cast some bases for a unit of Silenced that I wanted to paint for the remainder of this week, which I have been. And I wanted to cast bases for the dudes I had painted over the last, 4 months and haven't based yet. And so I bet all of you can already see where this is going. So I got the liquid plastic out that I use to cast those bases. Which dries opaque white.
Okay.
And I started mixing it up. And I mix it up in a small little cup because I need a very small amount of it for the 6 little inserts that are in my mold, about 15 milliliters of material. And so I was mixing it, and I was holding it with my fingers, and I was stirring, and the force of my stirring flicked the cup out of my hand.
Oh, no.
Not toward me, not to the left, not to the right, straight dead ahead, where there were, I shit you not, every single painted and unbased Greyjoy model that I had in my army, which is over half of them.
Oh no!
Well over half. I have I think 6 based Greyjoy models, and I have 18 painted ones. And I aced every single one of them.
You hit them all?
Here's one.
Oh my god.
Here's another.
Oh my god.
And there'll be pictures of this on the stream. Every single fucking one. And the funny part was the cup is basically the same height as a 32mm model. And so they all got hit in the fucking face with white, opaque, liquid plastic that looks like fucking cum.
You got Song of Ice and Fire and Bukkake.
I'm like omega sad, and I'm posting this on Instagram, and everyone's like, that looks like jizz. And it's like, I'm having a fucking moment here.
Yeah, I don't want your comments, your fucking middle school boy bathroom jokes.
Holy shit. Okay, I was very oddly calm about this happening. Like, when it happened, the moment it happened, I was like, I'm fucked. Like, there's nothing I can do to fix this. I like went over to the sink, and I grabbed a soft brush and some ISO, and I was like, okay, in my mind, that paint's been curing on there for a month. I can wipe it a little bit with ISO and not fuck the paint job. That wasn't true. So not only did I kick off the reaction of the liquid plastic faster with a cold liquid, I don't know how that worked.
Or alcohol makes it.
Something like that. I also wiped away some of the paint, and I was just like, I mean, insult to injury. So I let the rest cure when I saw that wasn't working. Those two were the ones I tried to wipe it off on. As you can see, it worked great.
No issues at all. Couldn't even tell.
Yeah, so after that, I let it cure, and then I got some resin on some plastic models that weren't painted. And for the most part, I was able to, like, take most of the plastic off of those. They actually kind of just popped off pretty nicely.
Oh.
Lots of nooks and crannies on minis, so it's kind of hard to get it all out. But I got enough out to salvage the two models that were unpainted. But the painted ones is a different story. The plastic was ripping off the paint as it came off.
Everything was coming off.
Bro, if there's someone in the comment section that's like, you dumbass, there's this miracle juice that could have solved your issue, let me know, and then people in the comment can benefit from that. We'll pin that comment too. I don't know what the right course of action is when this happens. Hopefully it never happens to you, but man, the thing I'm most pissed about is just a waste of time, you know? I have to fucking redo all these assholes.
Okay, so when I saw your story, I didn't read it. I just look at pictures. That's how I approach life. And I thought
the guy who like reads religiously every night.
Yeah, I thought it was like you were trying to do some kind of a snow effect, and it fucked up. I was like, Scott, what were you trying to accomplish?
No, dude.
Way worse. So officially, I think if there was a trophy for most tragic hobby fuck up,
yeah, this year at least,
dude, you won you're the 2022 fucking champion.
Yeah, I'm one of the nominees at least.
Yeah, you're at least like they're showing pictures of you seated for the Oscars.
Yeah. They got the cam on me. I'm sitting there all eager. I'm like, and the winner is fucking Mark from North Dakota. And I'm like, oh shit,
his house burned down and every mini was inside of it.
Oh, poor Mark.
Yeah, you're like fucking like clapping.
Yeah, you deserve
like,
it fine.
Pissed off, and I mean I'm sure that's happened. That sucks. But.
He hugs his wife and kid, and his suit is kind of burnt a little bit from the fire.
Yeah, he's just got like a charred paintbrush with no bristles. Oh man,
so those are my hobby stories.
Yeah. That fucking sucks.
Yeah, it sucks.
Dude, let's move on. I'm fucking down right now. Let's move on.
Oh, you're sad? Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah, you fucking brought the room down here. It's all uphill from here. Folks.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
good place to start.
We start low, and we're gonna work our way up.
Should we start with what we painted to get that kind of out of the, or is that part of the VincyCon like discussion?
I think
VincyCon.
Let's talk about anything we painted. I don't know if you have anything on here. I have one thing that we didn't paint at VincyCon.
Sure. Yeah.
And then we'll put a pin in that when we go back to VincyCon, what we painted there.
Okay, cool.
Sound good?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Did you paint anything other than VincyCon in the last couple weeks?
I did. So I casted up 12 more of these bases and painted all of them.
And these bases didn't fling all over the place.
The resin that I flinged all over the place, I still use to cast these bases. I was like hurriedly pouring it into the mold while trying to think of like a solution to the problem I just caused.
Yeah, because the clock starts ticking as soon as you put part A and part B together, right?
It's a quick drying 30-minute liquid plastic.
You got no time for this.
No time. So yeah, these are the ones that I cast with that fateful liquid plastic. And then I debased the other 12 and zenithly primed them. So they're ready to be painted today and tomorrow. And then I also worked on getting my Graveguard proxy unit all supported and printed. And I'm done. And so I'm in the stage right now where I'm printing 2 at a time. And I'm like, you know how last time we discussed, I was like, how do you make sure you like know what bit goes to what model.
Yeah.
So I'm like just doing 2 at a time. But I'm also like separating them on the build plate so they're
side
organized.
A and side B.
Yeah. So I'm like I take off the 2 that are related, put them in the ultrasonic cleaner, clean them, and then when they come out to get dried, then the other 2 go in. So I have like this kind of like process going right now, so I'm not like confusing what bits are working. So they're good. I'm finishing 2 at a time, putting them together. Some of the prints are failing, so I have to go back and fuck with supports and shit like that. But progress is being made. I'm happy to be done with like the bulk of the supporting work.
So is it the same sculpt each time, or just kind of like random chance?
They're all
They are failing.
Oh no, yeah, it's just random ones. So I haven't actually fixed any of the ones that failed yet. I've been just printing the ones that I had supported, and I'm like writing down which ones are messed up, so I can go back and just print all the failed ones at the same time.
Okay. I was like, if it's like if you're doing the vampire guy A, and then 3 of the times he prints and the 4th time he fails, that's a different story than every time Vampire C fails every single time.
Yeah, every single one of the 10 dudes is a unique sculpt, so they're all supported in different ways. But I actually haven't tried to, whenever I get a print failure, I don't just try to reprint it to see if it will work again. I always try to like modify something about the exposure time or maybe a support or something like that.
That's wise. I have done that like more times than I probably should have.
Does it work out though?
I'm just like, do it again. Oh, the exact same failure happens.
Okay.
Yeah, and you're 100%. It is something in the support. So for that one versus the others,
yeah,
it's like it was interesting. If you're gonna say Vampire A, 2 out of the 3 times it prints, the other time it fails, like that means you are like riding on the razor's edge, which is kind of a cool thing.
Yeah.
To realize that that's what it is.
Yeah. Maybe the drop in temp overnight in the room caused the failure or something like that.
Some minor science leading back to the Trapped Under Plastic is a science podcast.
Yes.
Some scientific variable that my brain's already checked out as soon as you start a sentence that way.
Science. Discovery.
She blinded me.
All right, what you got?
I painted that little lady right there. That is a 3D print on my Frozen Sonic 8K Mini. I painted that for a recent video.
How can the model be so big at the face is so small?
Yeah,
look at these hands,
yeah,
bro.
Dude, don't even look at those hands. That model is available in both 75 mil and 32 mil. That is obviously the 32 mil. I also printed the 75 mil.
Is this the infamous Loot Studios?
No.
Okay.
That is White Werewolf Tavern.
Okay.
And it's a great example of the 75 mil one is fucking beautiful.
Yeah.
But what they did was they just resized it for 32.
Level of detail, great. Not a ton of gobbledygook on her.
Yeah.
But this is not a 32 mil model, at least in my head.
Yeah. Something about like going like the true scale versus heroic scale. I get that there are people that do the true scale stuff and they can do it well. Like I think a lot of the Guild Ball minis are kind of that way.
You can straddle that line, yeah. It doesn't have to be like Imperial Guard, my hand is the size of my head, ridiculousness, right?
And Guild Ball wasn't full true scale. It was like somewhere in the middle. And I think Kingdom Death does that too, where it's not quite true scale because that's true scale, and true scale is like fucking Malifaux, and you're like, I just can't paint the hands.
Yeah.
And the faces are just so fucking tiny. But I think pushing more towards heroic scale and finding that balance, leading back to last episode that we talked about 3D printing, like finding that balance. Can you see, like, look at her little fucking tchotchkes just below the breastises?
Yeah.
How fucking shallow are those tiny fucking details?
Yeah, dude.
That was terrible. Any of those?
Props to you for nailing them, though.
Oh, God. And like the little thing that's holding her dress up, like those little thin lines that connect it to like her neck or around her neck. Those are the kinds of details that need to be pumped up like 300% if you're doing 32 mil. It was...
Dude, I don't even know how you... I mean, that could be a freehand painted line. I would know.
There's almost no raised surface for the tip of a brush to touch.
Yeah.
But so this was just me doing this is the suck cut method of painting, the hot new speed chop, speed slap.
Which apparently is something vile in Dutch or something like that.
Yeah, don't spell cut K-U-T.
Oh, yeah. Okay, that was the change you made. Okay.
Yes, because in Wayne's World, suck cut is spelled S-U-C-K-K-U-T. So that's what I did because obviously that's the joke. But in Dutch, cut spelled that way refers to a female's private parts. And so I was like, oopsies, I didn't know that. But people that let me know that were very nice about it. And so I was like, okay, so I switched it in the video title to C-U-T. But the point is it's the colored zenithal, and then building up highlights over the zenithal. So I painted her in the color, the whole model was painted in the color of her skin, and then just select highlights there. And then your secondary points of interest. So for this, it's the blue dress, is just a fast layer. And then basically everything else is contrast and a little bit of highlights. So you're just kind of like, you're cherry picking where you're putting your time in, that's, I think, a lot of more evolved versions of speed painting. And I think your system, and actually I can see it on this guy as well, is exactly that, is like pulling your punches everywhere except for where it matters most, and then put a little bit more time into those. Like your guys here, I can tell you have a nice buildup of layers of color on his skin and on the cloak near the shoulders and head.
Yep, and that's it.
And everything else, and you kind of lose all that stuff unless you're really focusing on a model anyway.
Yeah.
And so it's just kind of a similar there. And the whole video is just basically a joke on like whatever people find fun in the hobby, wherever they find motivation, wherever they find a reason for excitement to sit at the painting table, we should embrace that and not
gatekeep it.
Yeah, not gatekeep it. So I hope people got that was the point, but if they didn't, that's fine too.
You did. There's the point. Now you can learn the lesson.
Now you know.
Stop being a dick.
But I also stand behind that. This is kind of my kind of newer evolved speed painting system that I took away from my experience with slap chop and my previous way I did speed painting, and so it's nothing revolutionary and doesn't need to be.
No, it's just a little adaptation. Those are always valuable.
Yeah, and I did the colored texture paste, the AK interactive color texture paste, and this one's called like cemetery soil or something like that.
I like that.
And I just put like a couple of different like select shades down on it, and that's it. So it's this like,
is it gray?
Creepy greenish gray, really pale greenish gray. And I just put a little Arthonium camo shade, a little bit of Coelia green shade in a couple different spots to make these little shadowy, almost like pool things.
Nice.
Throw some tufts on there. Don't even have to prime or paint it.
Throw a succulent on there.
Dude, I got that's a little 3D printed succulent. I couldn't not. You can't not put those little 3D widgets on there.
Is this a desert, John? This is an arid environment?
This is called like a death ivy. It only grows over fresh graves.
Ooh, I like that. Yeah. There you go. Eat my fucking steamy lore.
Yeah.
Okay?
Suck it.
Cut it. Hey.
Cut this lore in your face hole. So that's what we painted that we didn't paint at VincyCon.
Now, John, I know you're a big fan of minis, movies, and role-playing, and the sponsor this week is right up your alley.
Are you saying our sponsor is the upcoming Dungeons & Dragons movie that's surely going to be the best fantasy movie of all time?
Dude, even better.
The one from the early 2000s?
I'll let that one slide. It's Broken Anvil Miniatures showing off their newest collaborative project, Arcane the Cruel, Champion of Tiamat. This is a fully licensed rendition of Joe Manganiello's character from Critical Role. And the mini is even wielding his famed battle axe, Fane Eater. Now that's attention to D and detail.
Never defame the name of D&D again, please.
Sorry.
Anyways, Archon the Cruel is an Oathbreaker paladin and an NPC featured in D&D's adventure Descent into Avernus. So coming in at a 32mm scale, it's the perfect size to add to that adventure or even as a proxy for one of your armies.
Joe himself is an acclaimed actor, writer, game designer, and dungeon master, so Broken Anvil Monthly is very excited and proud to get to partner with him to bring this character to life.
I can honestly say I had never thought we'd live to see the day where Flash Thompson's D&D character was brought to life, but I'm all about it.
Hefty the Smurfs Half Dragon is up for pre-sale right now on Broken Anvil's website, which you can find linked down in the description below. And if that doesn't blow your mind already, it's only $10.
While you're there, be sure to check out some of the other amazing miniatures they have available, like their Knoll Legionnaire or the Clan Kordesh Orc bundle. And as with all BAM minis, they're expertly sculpted with dynamic poses just begging for paint.
We've also been giving breaking news that their recently closed Kickstarter, Forged, will be opening up to pre-orders very soon after this episode drops. So if you missed your opportunity to snap up the amazing bundle of over 134 miniatures, you have another chance very soon.
To make sure you don't miss out on Forged or any of the other hot goss that's going on over at Broken Anvil Miniatures, be sure to sign up for their newsletter over on their website as well.
A big thank you to Broken Anvil Miniatures for sponsoring this episode and to Deathstroke for allowing them to make his D&D character. If you want to support them, you can find links to all their stuff down in the description below.
We got a fucking double whammy topic today. We have VincyCon December 2022 recap and 2022 year in review tup for you.
That was nice. Yeah. Nothing says year in review finale episode like a low effort episode of Trapped Under Plastic.
Bro, I wrote down 3 bullet points. That is not low effort. That is minimum effort.
All right. So should we go through this day by day like we did last time?
Yeah. I mean, I put down things. Do you want to see what I put? I put
okay.
different things to touch on. We talk. One of them is food. One of them is. I mean, there's a thing I need to start with that is a little story time, known as the Great Fireball Fiasco of 2022. But then it's like, what we painted, gaming, the alpha testing, food, that kind of thing.
Yeah, okay? Don't mind us doing a little production meeting right now in the middle of the episode.
Yes. So let's just do that. That way we can hit each topic and we don't feel like we're jumping back and forth too much.
For sure, yeah, let's do it.
And then if something jogs your mind of something that day, we just gel into it.
Go with it, okay.
All right, so I came in on a Thursday, Scott came in on a Friday, and Scott's lovely wife, Amber, was nice enough to take me from his house to the airport. I just parked my truck in their driveway.
Yeah, you owe her a pizza, bitch.
I do owe her a pizza.
Yeah, what the fuck?
Oh, my gosh. Here, I'll cash app right now. So I got there on Thursday, and then you got there on Friday. When I got there, one of the first things, in addition to being welcomed by the 3 lovely golden retrievers, is Vince's wife, Kathy, showed me the 175 of Fireball that she got. She's like, is there anything you want to eat or drink? I'm like, Fireball.
She talks like that.
Yeah, that's exactly what her voice sounds like.
Yeah.
And so the very first night, I was like, we're sitting down, we're doing a little bit of painting, we're just catching up. It's me, Adam, Sam, and Vince. And we're just like getting into it for the weekend. And you're just kind of like settle yourself in, get your area all set up, whatever. And I just started having a couple little sippies of Fireball just to get the night rolling. By the end of the night, Adam and I were still up at it was after 4 a.m. And we were up talking for like an hour and a half, just he and I. I don't remember what we talked about. I go back down the next morning, and I felt like I was dead. And I saw that there was, of the entire 175 of Fireball, there was like an inch and a half of it left in the bottom of the bottle.
There was like an eighth of it left, yeah.
Nah, it was not much. And I'm like, Sam comes downstairs. I'm like, Sam, how much of that did you drink? And he's like, I didn't touch any of it. And Vince doesn't drink. And I'm like, Adam, did you have some of that with me last night? He's like, nope. And I'm like, fuck me. So all of Friday, I was a zombie.
Yeah, dude. Conjon struck again.
Yeah, dude. I don't know what it is of day one of an exciting hobby-filled adventure that I like blow my entire clip in day one.
You just live such a repressed life, not drinking Fireball all the time, that whenever you get the chance, you're just like fucking like, oh.
I know. I'm just like Cookie Monster. Dude, I can't stop the cookies.
Fireball Monster.
Yeah.
You're just in the trash can. You're like a combo of the 2 Muppets. Just fucking drinking Fireball.
Just barf back into my own trash can and just keep going.
It's efficient, dude.
I did not throw up.
You did not. I would have.
I think I would have probably been a better idea if I did. So yeah, I telling myself, first day of Adepticon, I am not doing that. So I was saying it right now.
Do you want someone to hold you accountable to that? Like if I see you, okay, I was just gonna say, if I see you letting it rip, am I gonna take the alcohol away from you? But no,
I think what I would benefit from is like a gentle tap to be like, that's cool, John, but just pace yourself. Just slow it down.
I'll do whatever you want me to do.
Okay.
Not whatever. Let's get little.
Otherwise, we'll be humping the Space Marine in the lobby at 5 a.m. I mean, we'll probably want to do that anyway.
Yeah.
But otherwise, yeah. So that was the pre-Scott era, and then we showed up in the morning to pick you up from your plane.
Yeah. So John, Sam, and Vince rolled up to the airport to pick me up, and Sam came in and got me, and the moment I got in the car, I knew that you were not well, basically, because you were just low energy, like kind of sullen look, but no, it was a good car ride. On the way there, we got some insider info about the game we got to play test, and we got our first introduction to ancient Egypt.
Holy shit, dude.
Which is not Vince's and Uncle Adam's game.
No, that's not the game.
But maybe will be.
Maybe one day. Okay, if the weekend was a vascular system, like the main vein for which beats through its entirety is ancient Egypt.
And honestly, like whenever anyone said that phrase, it was just like everyone always started laughing just because like you never expected it, but it always came up. It was so good.
I wish we had Sam here right now to give the elevator pitch of what is ancient Egypt, because he has one.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like
he was workshopping it the entire weekend.
The entire time. Like he was coming up with more like imaginative, like very, very visual, impactful images through words about what is ancient Egypt.
Yes.
And so before we get too much further into the podcast, we should probably explain like at a base level. Like we cannot do it justice for how Sam describes it. But it is a miniatures war game, but instead of miniatures,
yes, you
use eggs.
Yes. It's great because you buy the rule set, you buy a dozen of jumbo eggs, then you got your army.
You could like dress them up. You dress up your eggs.
Yeah.
Because ancient Egypt is obviously in the core game, the setting
obviously
is the ancient Egyptian times.
Yeah.
So it's a story of pharaohs and princesses.
Slave eggs.
Yeah, and the creation of the great orbital pyramid.
Yeah, egg-shaped pyramids.
and it's a story of love. It's a story of romance.
It's a story of cracking that hard outer shell to get to that soft inside.
Yeah, and the greatest thing about ancient Egypt is that you have two modes of play. You have a competitive play, a matched play,
if you will,
and you have what's known as hardcore ancient Egypt. When one of your eggs dies in the battlefield, it must be crushed.
You just fry it up. Your opponent just fry it up and eat it like right in front of you mid-game.
Oh, man.
I'm eating your fucking people right now.
Right. Yeah. I mean, he's got all sorts of great like phrases that describe the gameplay, and it's like just like cheesy 80s marketing phrases, and it's like, make sure you're not the last one to be cracked.
Yeah, it was great, and it expanded after that. We got into like Eggs of Saturn.
Eggs of Saturn is the first expansion.
The first expansion. Then we're like, what else can we talk about with eggs? And we're like, okay, Lord of the Eggs, Egg Strikes Back. Like there was so many egg related discussions that went on that day. Those days.
Yeah, and so basically, Sam's plan is to make this game a reality. And we're here to support him in this.
Right. And so are you. You should be.
And so are you.
Yeah.
So
when it comes to Kickstarter, you fucking get your wallet ready.
Yeah. So what you need to do is head on over to twitch.com/Samson Paints, Samson Minis.
It's Samson Minis.
Samson Minis. And first of all, go give him a follow and watch Sam paint on stream, because he's an amazing streamer and amazing painter. But you too will probably be privy to the ancient Egypt lore.
Yes.
That flows through him.
Yes.
He is merely a vessel. Much like an egg. Oh, man. So there's a whole lot of weird and odd and crazy conversations that went on. Much of them revolved around eggs.
Yeah.
But others that weren't. Some that only in the inner sanctum of VincyCon can be privy to. But what's next on our list? I want to make sure I'm following this. Well, let's talk about what we painted, right? Okay. What? So typically, in VincyCon's past, when the way it first started, it was about a collaborative project. So the first two VincyCons, remember, we did all of the green skins for when you combined them, they became a diorama. They all the bases kind of like matched up. And the second one, we did the future one with the holy pie.
We did the Four Musketeers.
Four Musketeers in the pie wedges that you 3D printed. The third one, you weren't there, and that was pure Golden Demon.
Just unadulterated painting, fucking fuel, dude.
Yeah, it was just JD erections the whole time. We were there to paint for Golden Demon. And so this one was the first, like, paint what you want, bring what you want. It's about us just hanging out and having a good time and slapping some paint. And so we each kind of were on different roads, and I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that. I like that too. So yeah, we were all doing our different projects. I wanted to finish up a couple of Soulblight Gravelord additions to my army so that I could toss them in during my escalation league and not have to worry about getting them painted in that same month. So I was kind of like head down painting the majority of the weekend because that's the point. I painted up, I finished a unit of 10 Death Rattle skeletons, and I have here, which is just the one with a little bit of freehand on the banner. Banner was a little bit smaller than the other banner that came in the Death Rattle box, so I didn't do the full moon behind the symbol silhouette, but a different, just the sword with the wings on it. Got some feedback from Sam, the master of freehand himself. He gave me some feedback about, I didn't even think about it, but applying shading on the design, like where it kind of rolls into the fabric on that, and kind of like the sword area.
Makes it look like it's more natural. I really do. You almost have like a dark line around it.
Yeah, I like to do that sometimes. I like to outline it with black because not only would maybe someone do that like in design, like when like making the flag, but it helps the thing pop out a little bit.
Yeah, I think it does a lot. Even though you don't notice it right away, it really creates this nice, like, clean separation.
Yeah, it's the last step that I do, and it helps to clean up the border too, because the border can get a little scratchy sometimes with like the ends of the brush.
Do you use black ink for that?
I do. I didn't have any ink with me there, so I just used black paint. But if I were to do something like that, I would combo black ink and black paint.
Nice.
Yeah, it's kind of like that's the recess like panel liner that I also use when I like recess shade models. So I did that. Then came back and got it based up during a live stream. And then I moved on to the Zombie Dragon, which I also had started some time ago. I think back in the day when you and I were doing our paint an army in 2 days thing.
Yeah.
So he was started from there. So I finished him and then came back here, and then the rider was already done, put him on the mount, and then did the whole base during the live stream. And that was a lot of fun because that base is so gigantic. And I had like 2 little shallow pools for like to fill with like water effects.
That was a good idea to have that addition, because I found those big fucking pie plates that it's so easy to just like it's such a vast amount of land and it just feels so like barren so easily.
Yeah.
And I was curious to like how that was going to go for you, and you did. You had enough details on there, and then you made the right decision of tufts on tufts.
Yeah, and the rocks also kind of help from the model itself to break up some stuff. I probably should have had more rocks like that on the base elsewhere, because it's kind of just weird that it's like the 2 rocks are the ones he's standing on. But oh well, lesson learned.
I mean, that's why he's standing there. There's only 2 rocks.
Yeah,
there's 2 of them standing there.
The 2 perfect rocks. Yeah, I got another one to do, so I can take that learning lesson forward. And then lastly, I assembled and painted. I started to paint 5 Blood Knights. And finished up 1 because I could tell quickly that I wasn't going to be able to finish all 5, and I wanted to paint 1 just to kind of see what the squad could look like, and I'm not convinced. And so I had an idea. I was like, do you know how like Bretonnian knights, French knights, like the questing ones, basically when you make a questing knight unit or I don't know if it's Grail Knights. You get like one knight from like each neighboring town, and they all come together to form a unit, and they have their own fancy regalia for like from where they come from, right? Mm-hmm. You see Knight's Tale. They'll have their own heraldry and shit.
Right.
So what if I had a unit of 5 Blood Knights, and they all had their own heraldry, like their own colors that represented where they came from in this like land where my vampire nation is from?
Yeah.
It's like so you emphasize the difference instead of doing the opposite that you normally do with units, make them uniform.
So the point is that it's very obvious on first glance that this was intended.
Yeah, so similar color palettes, blues and reds, and golds and like silvers, but like just jumbled up and reorganized for other models.
Okay. And yeah, I think in an ideal world, a great way to do that is where the accent color is all different, right? So then you can tell that they're different, but it's just like in the banner and in the sash or in the whatever cloth that this one's orange and that one's green and blah, blah, blah. But I think the only worry is because that one is so striking, you're walking the line of Clown Fiesta of too much color. But I think you're right in that if you keep it within a triad of colors and allow yourself to deviate on the scale of the blue and on the scale of the red, maybe one of them's red's a little bit more orangey red, maybe one of the blues like a deeper cobalt blue or whatever, and then you switch around the locations, I think that works.
Okay. Yeah, not necessarily. This paint scheme isn't terrible. It just kind of sounded fun a little bit to like treat each one kind of like a hero. Then again, that would make it take a long time to finish the unit, and I already started the horses with all that airbrush work.
You have all the blue armor on the horses all done, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I think that looks cool, and they look like a unique squad. They look like the elite, like the Navy SEALs of Blood Knights, right?
Yeah, baby.
Like, these guys go rolling in, and the enemy's like, oh, God damn it. These guys are showing up.
Yeah.
I like that. And the thing is there's enough colors that tie them into the rest of the army that it doesn't feel like they don't belong.
Yeah.
You just feel like an elite unit.
Okay, cool. I mean, that's exactly what I was shooting for. I wanted 3 units of Blood Knights in my final 2K point list, and I wanted them to feel like they were the fancy boys, and I wanted to do that with the new kit.
Yeah. I really like that blue armor, man. It is so striking without being gaudy, which is with that.
That's kind of surprising, honestly.
With that blue, because it's so like poppy, it could so easily be gaudy.
Yeah. And so that's kind of more like a cobalt blue. You can keep applying that to Miniac clear and just get it like darker and like richer. Same with the red, same with all the colors. They can continue to be applied layer after layer just to intensify them in saturation. They're incredible products.
And that's why, because you don't have a Daimyo clear blue at home, right?
I have them all, baby.
Oh,
the whole
okay.
set.
Because in my head, like I remember this of you like walking through the portions of the thought process of what to paint these.
Yes.
At this time, Vince and I were playing Magic, and we're going to talk about that in a second.
Yes.
But you found his Tamiya clear blue.
Yes.
And so you immediately were like,
we're using this.
We're using this shit. And then we spent the next like hour and a half trying to get that bottle open. Remember that was the bottle that was someone super glued the lid on or something?
Yeah. So I gave it to you, I gave it to Sam, and I gave it to Vince, and they all were like cranking on it, and you were a little toasted at that point.
Yeah, probably.
And so you were trying way too hard to
I even
get
got
that
the
thing
gripper.
open.
I'm like, Vince, you got a gripper? And he's like, what? You know, like the gripper to the like thing
the pot opener, or like the jar opener things, like the rubber netting thing.
My mom always called those grandma's gripper, and I don't know where that name came.
Grandma's gripper.
I don't know where that name come from, but that's the only name I know to refer to them as. And so I'm like, he's like, yeah, there's one upstairs in the silverware drawer.
Did you ask for grandma's gripper? And he's like, oh yeah, I got one of those.
I don't think I said the word grandma's, because now I'm a little bit like hypersensitive that no one knows the fuck that is. So I don't say the word grandma's anywhere. And he's like, yeah, it's up in the silverware drawer. So I run upstairs, I find one. I'm like, fuck yes, I got this. And I run back downstairs. I get the fucking grandma's gripper. I wrench on it again. No luck. But as we know, for anyone that's used that Tamiya clear stuff before, as it dries, it becomes like a gel-like goo. And if you get it like hardened around the grooves on the fucking inside of the cap, you're fucked.
Yeah, honestly, that pot is the worst pot. It's even worse than GW's pots. just because the product itself like cements the lid closed as well.
You got it by applying heat.
Yeah. So if anyone's struggling, we had a heat gun on the lowest setting. A hair dryer would probably work.
Yeah.
Just I hit it with a low heat temp for like literally 30 seconds, and it opened up like so easily. And I was like, wow, okay, all that struggling was for naught.
And I remember that, and you came back out of that the airbrush room. So whenever we had an airbrush, we'd go into Vince's room, and Scott came out. I can close my eyes and picture this exact
I don't even know what you're about to say.
You came out holding one of them. You're looking at it as you're walking, and the look on your face was the exact same look on my face when I airbrushed my entire fucking model pink at Vince's. Like, what the fuck did I do? Like, I don't know if that's what you felt or not, but you had this serious look of like, oh no, it's so blue.
Yeah, I can't remember what stage that was in, because I definitely like came like to and from that area a couple times.
You came back and built in the shadows from below, whatever, but then it was strictly fucking electric blue at that point.
Yeah.
And you were like, oh, fuck.
Oh, you know what? Okay, it's because of a learning lesson that I discovered about TMM that we're going to talk about in the in the extended version of the podcast, which is what people can get if they enroll in our Patreon. You get about extra 20 to 30 minutes of extra content an episode. So I'll tell why I was looking sad then.
Okay.
But it turned out okay. I don't think it looks bad. I think it just kind of looks a little bit weird. I don't know though. But again, for like a fancy unit, I think it's okay. It tracks. So yeah, that was the last thing I painted. I finished this model, and the rest are started. What did you paint, good sir?
I got to cracking on my Golden Demon diorama piece by painting zombies. And to kind of prep for this, I started painting one, I think a day or two before at home, and I brought that with, so to kind of get an idea of what my process is going to be.
Mm-hmm.
But I needed to, because I think I have about between 10 and 12 models on that whole diorama, so I need to crank some out.
Okay.
So my plan was to get 3 or 4 done. I got 2 done. But since we've been home, I got enough momentum going. I got 2 more done.
Nice.
And then my next video is going to be painting 1. And what I'll talk about in the after party is kind of how I was trying to develop a paint to a display standard, but not full ball sack, to get them done to a certain level quickly.
For diorama especially, this is an important thing to consider because you have so many models to paint, more than likely. So it's hard to... I mean, you can be the guy who like paints everything insanely, but then like you're also the guy who has like an entry one every 3 years. Right. So it's like it's hard to balance that.
Yeah. Like if I spent 50 hours per model on this thing is like a 600-hour project.
Yeah.
So I can't do that. So I got it down to somewhere between 8 and 12 hours.
Yeah.
Per model, and that's still, when I still look at that and do the multiplication in my head, it's still a fuckload. And then when I get to the premier model, the vampire that's the centerpiece, she's obviously going to be a lot more.
Yeah.
But I just I was like a clean style, yet I'm working with this weird secondary light source.
I think you're doing good. I think everything that you were showing me was looking like GW standard, like nice and clean, very bright, all the details were rendered super well, which is like a huge thing. There weren't any like, at least when I was looking at it, there weren't any like what I thought were unintentional mistakes, which I think is very important. Like everything was placed deliberately.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, you could like spend an extra 5 hours on each model, like really crisping it up and making sure there are no like blending mistakes or anything like that could be perceived as mistakes. But like, again, these are going to be like background characters to like the main vampire.
Yeah, and that's it. Is like if I go back through, I could probably spend at least 5 hours in each one and just smooth out blends. And everything's blended. It's just not silky smooth in all areas.
It's damn near close though.
Yeah. So one of the fun parts about it was that I want every one of the zombies' skin to be a different skin color, right? Because like different states of decay, I want there to be a bit of kind of uniqueness, right? Because if they're all painted all the skin basically the same way, I think the piece is less interesting to look around it.
Yeah,
and see all the different things. So I've really enjoyed that, and I kind of figured out like what's the thing that makes it feel like zombie skin, and it really doesn't have to do with color. It's the point is that when you get up to the brighter highlights, is that you're really desaturated, right? Because all the color of the skin is gone, and it gets down to mid-tone, and maybe it's a little bit weird purpley, or maybe it's just kind of a grayish red, or maybe it's a grayish green, or whatever. And then in the shadows, and you can add it's like a crimson red, like black lining in the shadows, or it's a really like dark indigo in the shadows, or whatever. So there's a lot of variation that I found, and that's just really fun. And I'm like, if I'm going to have to paint, I think it's 6 or 7 zombies that I have to paint, I don't want to get burnt out about just doing the step and the step and the step and the step, like you're mass painting.
Yeah.
But for display level, I'm like, fucking shoot me. I couldn't do that. So I'm going to do that too. I think there's only 3 or 4 skeletons on here, but I'm going to do a slight different variation in the bone color too. Okay. Just slight. It's not going to be so prominent because I think that would be a little bit too Skittles.
Yeah, I think the way, if I'm imagining the way that GW judges pieces, like they will be able to legitimize in their heads why the zombies are different, but not why the skeletons are different, and so that might be like a demerit on you if it's like,
okay, that's good to know.
If it's too obvious, because like the only consideration they have isn't just art. Does it look nice? Right. It's also, it makes sense in our world that we've crafted. So yeah, okay. I think some variation is definitely okay.
You're probably right. In these new skeletons, there's a lot more of armor and cloth and a lot less bones as the original Death Rattle ones that I painted before. So I think that I'm fine with that. And I probably have to do the cloth on them probably all the same because they are, and I want that to somewhat tie into the vampires' main color of red too, to cohesion about it. But there'll be maybe a little bit more of a burnt red, a little bit more desaturated red that just gets up to a peak of interesting red. But
okay.
Anyway, so that's what I did, and I know I could have gotten more done, but it's also a pretty intense painting process.
Right, yeah.
It had to be very focused, and I'm using a tiny brush the whole time.
Okay, yeah. So what supplies did you bring in total?
I brought sexy gogs. Most important thing.
Most important.
I brought my own wet palette just because it fit in what I was, going to bring. I brought my case of brushes that had like 8 brushes in there. I didn't know which brushes I was going to use or not, but I brought a selection. I brought a bunch of paints. When you're on your carry-on, you can bring a quart size, not a quart, whatever, the mid-size Ziploc bag.
Yeah,
full of liquids. So that was just paints. I didn't bring any other liquids for me other than a little tube of toothpaste for myself for the whole trip to go on the plane. So I brought a bunch of just variety of colors from the AK range because I know Vince has some of those, but doesn't have a ton. I really like those paints, and I was like, I'm going to get some foundational colors here that will continuously show themselves through the whole piece. So there's kind of some cohesion. So I brought paints, and then my models and model holder.
Okay,
that was it.
Okay, I brought all the paints that I used to paint my skeletons. So I figure I'm probably going to use a lot of these paints when finishing the other parts of my army. And then I brought brushes too. I didn't bring a palette. I totally could have fit one in my case. Rip my case.
Oh no,
I'll talk about that later.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, so I ended up using one of Vince's palettes. And I might have scuffed it up a little bit because of my habit for dipping the brush in the sponge to like moisten it and wet things. Not everyone does that. I know it's a weird habit that I have. Yeah. So I didn't think about that until I was like 2 days deep, and I was like, oh, this sponge is getting a little fucked right now. It's entirely my fault. So I'm sorry, Vince.
Oh yeah, he fucked your sponge. not literally, but yeah, you do that. You like poke the sponge with your brush.
It's just right there. It's ready to go. That's probably the reason why I like to have it kind of really full too with water.
Sure. So that sponge is always just like a bog.
Or I can just dip my brush in the water that's just sitting there. It's like water right there. If it's deep enough.
One thing I realized from using the exact same palette, painting the exact same models, trying to get the paint of the very similar and the same consistency from when I got home to when I was painting there is holy shit, does my water evaporate my palette so much more than it did at Vince's.
Get a humidifier.
I have a humidifier in my basement, but it's because you got the IntelliTech light that I paint under. And it's like 24 inches above the palette.
Wow. Shit, you got 2 feet. Are you like lower than your desk?
What? No, because the light is about 2 feet above the painting area. It's pretty close.
Okay.
But it's just that I think it's mostly that. Because in general, I have to run a dehumidifier in my basement all summer long because it's very humid. And in the winter, it doesn't get overly dry. It just is not humid.
Right.
It's got to be that freaking the evaporation from that light.
Yeah, it probably is. There's definitely heat getting kicked off because while I stream, I cannot wear a sweatshirt and an apron. I get way too hot. Same for the gaming stream. I can't wear anything other than a t-shirt. So yeah, I definitely would encourage some paint drying.
Yeah, and it was so much more difficult to just keep moving at home with painting because the paint dries so much faster on the wet palette.
Really? I've never had this problem with a wet palette. In my lights.
Yeah, it does.
Maybe I'm a little bit farther away from the palette than you are, maybe?
Maybe, but I'm also mixing smaller puddles.
That's true, yeah.
Because I'm doing small steps and in the half steps and that kind of stuff, and I mix this tiny little puddle, and then it's spread flat across the thing.
Yeah.
It's gone. So, but I didn't have that at Vincent's because he had his little OT lights, individual OT lights. Other than you brought something else.
I did.
You brought lights.
I brought some. I forget the name of the brand. I shouldn't remember the name of the brand. They are.
I shouldn't remember.
Something. It's like a real something.
Yes, I got one of those too.
They have phenomenal marketing. The lights themselves are $60 or $80, depending on whether you get the one that clamps the desk or the one that has the big weighty stand that you have.
Mm-hmm.
And so I had 2 of those because I had made a commitment to give some feedback for them to that company. And then I also had one of the OT lights. So I was fucking illuminated.
Yeah. You look like Iron Man with like shoulder cannons.
And they worked. So they have a long gooseneck, which allows you to kind of get into a bunch of different areas. And so I had them like on my temples,
right,
pointed straight forward and down, which was great. I was able to like illuminate the whole model. They have different color temps.
Which for us doesn't matter, but
it's useless, yeah, and different color intensities. And so the only thing I did was I put it on the middle color temp because that fully engaged all the LEDs in this bicolor fixture, and then I put it at 100% brightness, and that's where it stayed for the entire weekend. And if I use those things in my normal hobby, they'd stay there for the entire weekend, or sorry, for the entire like hobby life. So my review of this product that I'm not naming because I can't remember the fucking name is that it's just not worth it. They work, and there's nothing wrong with them. The only thing wrong with them is the price.
Well, I will say this though, it's like $100 or $110 for that long single one that people use all the time.
That ain't worth it either.
Yeah, that's probably a good takeaway from it. Like I like their modularity. Like if you had 2 of those, granted, that's like $120 with gooseneck, with that goosenecks and the clampy. To be able to just kind of form it exactly where you want it. With most lights, even, well, I guess maybe with the cheapo ones, if you put a China ball on them, it creates enough 360 light that.
I feel like my architecture lamps can move around enough, and I do. I move them to the sides of my head, and that is it's a 25 watt LED bulb, and those fixtures are 8 watt LED bulbs. So not only is my light way brighter, it has the same versatility, and maybe they aren't as versatile because those cheapo architecture lamps, they kind of get a little janky, like they don't hold the greatest. And this one did. It held great because the head of the light is so lightweight that it doesn't take much to keep it in place. But it's not so much that justifies me paying for a $60 feature when I can buy the lamp that I want and the bulb that I want for less than $60. I think for maybe 40, and it's like 4 times the output, literally. So yeah, it was a hard sell. But also that lamp has other uses for other people as well. It also looks nice too. Like if design and aesthetics are your thing, that definitely looks better than the setup that I have at my house right now with the 2 lamps.
We'll find the name of this light and put the link in the description below, so you can, or in the show notes, so you can find it. I have one too, and I use it for my airbrushing setup. I used to use an OttLight, and this thing is a lot brighter, and I can snake it around my little airbrush booth thing and point it through, and it's good for that. But
for sure, yeah. Again, doesn't do anything performance-wise that's bad.
No,
it's just like you have to decide for yourself if that list of features is worth it for the dollars. So up to you.
Got to remember too, though. So for your architecture lights, you're using like $20-$25 bulbs in each of those.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So you're looking at probably between 40 and 50 per.
Yeah, if you use the tertial, I don't know how to say that word, from IKEA, the fixtures, those are $9 a piece.
Tertial?
Is it tertial? It's TIAL, so I don't know if that's a sound. Doesn't matter.
I think tertial.
Well, I use the turd lamps.
Hi, where y'all keep your Swedish turd lamps?
Swedish. Yeah, so yeah, those are $9 a fixture. So I can't remember what it comes out to.
So enough about which lights.
Yeah, that was a long. Okay. I'm not expecting to talk about those, honestly.
All right, so we're gonna talk about whatever else painted too, right? Real quick. So Uncle Adam was on building mayhem mode.
Oh yeah,
dude, he was like a master builder from Legos. He was just building stuff for different games, for kill teams, for different one-page rule stuff or whatever. And then eventually he started to build a model that he wants to paint for his first painting competition for the Nova Open.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if he wants people to know or not know. He probably doesn't care, but I want to respect if he wants some level of secrecy what he's building and planning on painting.
Yes.
But he just didn't. He didn't want the pressure, the stress, or to just not just relax and have fun of painting there. And that was cool because he just chatted the whole time. He was busy hobbying the whole time. He stabbed himself pretty sweet in the thumb one time.
The first day, yeah.
First day. With the Monument Hobbies scalpel, which, ironically enough, not 15 minutes prior, he says, the reason I love this thing is because I can just slide the blade back in so it's safe. And then he stabs himself in the thumb with it. And he didn't slide it back in to keep himself safe, right? So, I mean, it's not the product's fault. And then later I asked to use it because I had found a middle of painting. I'd found a mold line that I had missed. I realized too, like, I must not have cleaned these fully, all my zombies really well, because I just wanted them built for the video that I originally did with them. And so I found stuff. I'm like, I'm just cutting off mold lines on something that's got 4 layers of paint on it. So I'm like, I just got to do it now.
Yeah.
And he's across the table from me, and he takes the knife, he puts it in the holder so it's safe, and he tosses it to me.
What the fuck?
Like it's a fucking football. And I'm like, Adam, you just gouge yourself in the thumb with this thing. Who's to say that I grab it, my hand hits the slider thing, the thing pops out and just lands directly in my jugular. God. This whole weekend goes down the shitter. So it's midair. I asked if I could use it. From when I asked if I could use it, within 3 seconds, he throws it.
He gives you one of those.
Sure.
And then tosses it?
Sure. And there it was. So it's midair, and I had a decision to make. And I did what I felt was probably the safest possible outcome. Because, you think worst case scenario, we're in the midst of a great hobby weekend, something fucking terrible is going to happen, we can't keep hobbying. This mid-flight blade of death is that thing.
You had all these fucking thoughts.
Yeah.
Like in the fucking 0.5 seconds, This thing is flying through the air.
Yes. So what I did was I put my feet firmly on the ground and I slid my scooty chair back.
Fuck out of there, dude.
I just shot off to the side about 3 feet and it lands safely right where my fucking neck would have been. And I was like, the fuck, dude? He's like, well, I put the safety back in there. I'm like, well, I'm sure this wasn't like military tested for safety and shit. I don't know. Like it's definitely safer than just throwing a scalpel at somebody. But that's where I learned Uncle Adam. He's got a little bit of a wily streak.
Yeah, he's got a little dark side to him, a little murderous.
Yeah.
I also used that knife because I was assembling them with my Blood Knights, and I almost stabbed myself too. Like I was like, oh, check this cool mechanism out, and I flicked it open and it like almost went into my hand. I'm like, oh shit.
Yeah, I love that. I have one of those knives. I use it all the time. I mean, it's not that the safety mechanism is like, you need it all the time, but when it's the same price as other blades with the same tip that you can replace with, it's just like, why not? Sam painted mystery gifts for each of us.
Yes, he painted us some Imperial Guard. Or sorry, no, not that. Astra Militarum, some Footsloggers from the new box, Cadia Stands.
Yes. And so he painted each of us one with our favorite color as a little symbol on the shoulder. And it was just beautiful.
And they started to paint his single fantasy entry for Golden Demon. And likewise, I don't know if we should discuss it too much. I don't know if is he put a picture of it on his Instagram or something like that?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know.
It's a very tasteful piece, kind of akin to Joshua Lai. And actually, it was super cool to see. And I wanted to try something like that in the future just because I was inspired by him doing that. Because he kind of like took what Joshua does and put it in the framework of Warhammer, which is like, okay, that's a cool context. I appreciated that. It was cool.
Yeah. Vincy V was working on mostly one piece, but a little bit of two separate pieces, both for Golden Demon, one for his unit category in fantasy, and then one for, I think that's Monstrous, his Ogroid Crusher.
Yes.
And that's the model when they were here for Space Station Zero launching, we spent a night at my place. We're like, we're setting paint, whatever. And Vince's like, I don't have anything to paint. I'm like, go look in my shelf, find something you want to paint.
Browse my wares.
And I had this model all built, kit bashed, and put on a block with the little paper clips so he's raised off it, and primed. That I had planned on doing this for Golden Demon. And I'm like, you want to paint this? And he's like, yeah. And so,
are you sure he didn't say sure?
Yeah, I mean, Vince is never too excited about anything, so yeah, it was sure. And so the thing is that if Vince wins with this, I get like 20% of a Golden Demon.
Yeah.
Like I'm busting off a horn with my mouth.
Yeah, you get the hobby saw and
just breaking off a horn.
Take one of those horns off, yeah.
And if he loses, if he doesn't win a Golden Demon, then he has shamed my house.
I was gonna say, are you gonna share in his despair? But no, it's shame. Shame on the Ninus household.
Yeah, you've brought shame to our house, and you shall be exiled until you can redeem yourself.
Dude, let me tell you, of the whole weekend, the words that were uttered the most was ancient, Egypt, and also definitely
sure.
Because Uncle Adam also
is
a priest of the Sure cult.
Right. They both went to Sure University.
Absolutely.
Like I don't know if this was an online education system because they live far enough apart, but they both majored, minored, and had a master's degree in Sure.
Yeah. It was impressive. It was impressive.
It was very impressive.
We'll keep it there. Yeah, I'm not gonna fix that.
No, I don't fix that.
Yeah. Every time you asked them a yes or no question, the answer was always sure.
Sure.
Every time.
And it's great too because we called them on every single fucking sure. Like you're not slipping one by us.
No.
Although I think by about day 3, we were exhausted for catching them on it. I'm like, guys, the English language is vast. There are a lot of words to use to describe an understanding of or acknowledgement of a statement.
Yeah.
Not just the one.
But if I know Vince, he's got that one locked away. It's like outfits, right? I don't have to think about it. I'm just going to say the default word my brain is programmed to know.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Vince is, if nothing else, Vince is about efficiencies.
Oh, yeah.
Boring efficiencies. Vince. Got him. You missed the first night, too, where we were doing yoga poses in this basement, too.
What?
Thursday night, we were doing yoga poses.
Because this is after or before Fireball?
Oh, mid-Fireball.
Mid-Fireball. Peak Fireball yoga.
Yeah, dude, I was flaming at that point.
Is this what hot yoga is?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, hot. Yeah, there was some hot yoga with me, Sam, and Vince in the basement. Because we're talking a little bit about, like, I had a little bit of sore back, so I've been doing my regular stretching exercises for that, and then Vince went into straight on fucking yogi educational mode.
What?
Yeah, about his rotation, his yoga rotation, and different exercises that'll help that, and will help your lower back and your hips and all this kind of stuff. And so we just got in it. We just dug in it.
Yeah. Was like Vince like behind you being like harder, and he was like kind of like holding you in position?
Nope.
Damn,
we never did that. Not for lack of trying.
Nope. I want to bring up something before I forget. Okay, I get so much shit in my videos for rocking a, air quotes, dirty airbrush. My God, people. Vince's airbrush, his HPCS, that is his beater airbrush, is disgusting.
Oh, yeah.
It was like, I don't want to call it inoperable, because it definitely still worked, but dude, the trigger was gummy, pulling it back was gummy, the whole cup was just like covered.
I don't know what color paint you had in there at any given time, because it was just like a rainbow of colors that were dried in there.
I had to take a 30-minute break just to bring it out into the normal painting area, just to give it a nice little scrubbing so that it would prime my models and not just be like a... Dude, I don't even know.
A bit like a dirty old super soaker.
Shame on Vince and his house, dude. You know, I was concerned that I was gonna like upset his delicate balance of like.
There's an ecosystem.
Exactly. If I clean this, am I gonna make this situation worse for him? Because he made like this comment where he's like, I'm just used to my tools and how they operate. Because his other brush that he uses for detail work was largely okay.
Well, that's because that one's new. That's that new Steenbeck.
Just give it a year. We'll come back next year and just be like all nasty and gunked up.
Yep. Probably. It's probably true.
What I'm saying here is this is a witch hunt.
What we're trying to do is deflect.
Right. So I need you to go to every video where he uses an airbrush, which is probably like half his catalog.
Yeah.
So like 7,000 videos.
That's at least.
And you're going to have to be like, wow, look at how dirty that airbrush is. Just really fucking lay into him, okay? So I feel better about myself.
We'll put links to each of those videos
below. There isn't enough characters in the description. We'll put it in the pinned comment.
Okay, so what we painted is that was it. There's a lot of watching, like as per usual. We get a good collection of music. Different people pick different music that's playing throughout, and then you pop in there with different funny YouTube videos, like some mostly comedic based stuff. You check things that you thought were funny, and then since the last time you listened to them in like 2002, they're not funny anymore. And just kind of sharing the wealth of humor with each other. Like each of us becomes like a bit more socialized with the grandness that is the internet humor.
Yeah.
So we did a bunch of that.
Do you have a favorite oldie that was referenced? I think my favorite was The Ultimate Showdown. You know that song? This is the ultimate showdown of ultimate destiny.
Oh, yeah.
I haven't heard that song in like fucking 15 years or however long, whenever it came out.
There was a new one that I hadn't heard before. And it's an oldie, and I realized I would have fucking loved it at the time, but it still worked for me, but maybe not to the great scale it would have in like 2002. And that was the motherfucking pterodactyl song.
Yeah. Is that from Kathy?
Yeah. I am a motherfucking pterodactyl.
That sounds so much like 2000 comedy too.
And I'm here to rip you a new asshole. Dude, that's all. I'm there. I'm there for the butt jokes and dinosaurs and just violence.
Yes.
So
let's talk food now.
We talk food. Let me real quick before we get to food, because that's the thing. I'll talk a little bit about magic cards.
Oh my God, these two.
So Vince and I, on a whim, decided, because Vince is balls deep back into magic, and I didn't know he was, and I have been for a little while now too. And so we decided to go halvesies on a box of magic cards that we did sealed decks out of throughout the entire weekend. So we had 36 packs, and we would each open 6 packs, make a deck out of that, the standard sealed environment. And so
23 cards, right?
What's that?
So you had 17 lands?
Yeah, 23 cards, 17 lands. Okay. You make minimum 40 card decks.
How much in a booster for us that aren't familiar?
How many cards?
In a blister pack. 15. Or what? 15? Okay.
So, and this is why I like draft and sealed. I love so much, because it's an extra layer of strategy and complexity where skill puts you ahead. It's not just the gameplay, it's the building. You know, like how well can you tune and can you identify which are your better cards and maximizing those and really fine tuning how far can you stretch your anyway, this is a Magic bit. But anyway, so we played every day. So we'd open up 6 new packs each, and then we would play 2 matches, best of 3 matches. And we did that for 3 straight days. And then at the end, we did like the mega compilation where we each got to use all of our cards from the previous 3 days and make 1 mega deck. And then we played a best of 3 match there.
Okay.
So we played 7 matches. And I'm just gonna mention this.
Just mention it, John.
Just gonna mention it.
You earned it.
Because Vince would crush me if he was like on Ambien and half asleep in Age of Sigmar, because he's so much better than me than that. I went undefeated for the weekend.
Literally.
You
never lost a single fucking game.
No. I did lose games. I never lost a match.
Okay,
I never lost a best of 3 match. That said, a lot of the matches were good Magic. They went to all 3 games, or the games were close and whatever. Vince obviously knows Magic. He's good. He's a good player. We had so much fucking fun. When my plane landed, was the next day. I texted Vince. I'm like, how fucking great was Magic, dude? He's like, I fucking love that. So this might be. I don't want to necessarily be to that level of a new tradition of VincyCon, but goddamn. Let's just put it out there. Magic's better than Warhammer. It just fucking is. Because we can sit down and in 10 minutes we can play a game, an exciting back and forth battle, and someone can be determined the winner or the loser, and you don't feel like shit because the game took 3 hours and you felt like 1 or 2 things went wrong and therefore the whole fun was lost. It's like if 1 or 2 things went wrong and you got hosed or whatever in Magic, great. Let's shuffle up. Let's fucking do it again.
Yeah.
And then that feeling doesn't last. It has to do with the speed of the game,
but also the rule set. Would you say the rule set's just better?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay.
I mean, so it's twofold. Not only is the game more competitive and more balanced, but also the experience is way more disposable, and that you can just re-rack and start again, like that.
Yep. And there is decades of experience of this game being tuned and being played at the highest level for Magic professionals for money. That means that there's no such thing as a perfect game, but that there is an understanding of the precision of a competitive game that can be supported with a prize money. And there are Magic professionals. There's a Magic Hall of Fame. There's a reason why over the years that in a 5-year period, John Finkel won Player of the Year, won the World Championships 2 out of 3 years, was a U.S. National Championships 3 out of 3 years. It wasn't because of luck, because I could tell you every card in his deck, and his opponent could tell you every card in his deck, and his deck could be made to counter that deck, and he'd still beat you because people are just that fucking good.
And Wizards is a wildly successful company.
Yeah, until Hasbro bought them. Now it's all fucking downhill, but we're hoping that train is still not off the tracks. But
I'm just trying to say that you can create a competitive game and make money on it, and have it be fiscally like a wise choice for your business. Now, obviously, miniatures do not compare 1-to-1 to cards.
Yeah.
But I want to live in a world where this becomes a thing. Like competitive miniature wargaming is a fun thing to watch, and it's exciting. My co-host on my stream, Curtis, was looking for inspiration for our stream, and so some time ago he watched a Age of Sigmar stream, and there were fucking 10,000 viewers. What the fuck?
Was that the official Warhammer one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Am I crazy? That's insane.
Yeah.
That is better than some fucking esports events.
Yeah.
So if there's an audience for it, why can't this be a thing? Like there obviously is.
Yeah. I think it's about production. I think at the highest level, what's really going to be entertaining is different than you see in a whole Dota match start to finish. I think it's more of a pop in and pop out, and it's the showing the important or key things, and you have announcers that are explaining why. Oh, this is interesting. He decided to bring his Blood Knights off to the right flank instead of going up and taking that objective. Let's see, like you need that, I think, to really get to that. Just 2 people sitting down and playing and whatever can still be good, but you really narrow down what a lot of the minutia of the game, and what keeps people engaged and feeling like they're coming along and they're learning, they're being entertaining, they're seeing like, oh wow, okay, this isn't just you just move your things and then whatever happens. Like the decision points,
right? Yes,
and the outcomes of somebody explaining that to you.
Yeah, man, that's such a hard line to straddle, like for my gaming stream, because like I want to be the one that's talking, not like some third party. But then it's like hard to share strategies, because then you're giving away like your battle plan, right?
Yeah.
So there's got to be some middle line of sharing what's going on in my head and also involving chat and making them feel engaged to the point where the experience is fun. But we're getting off topic right now. This is not about VincyCon.
There's a whole nother fucking topic here.
I want to thank you for bringing Vince down the magic card rabbit trail. But because of your distraction,
yeah, this was all part of my strategy.
I was able to definitely accomplish my goal of always be painting when Vince is painting, or at the very least, paint as much or more than Vince, because he was playing Magic and I was just painting while he was doing that.
This is the most lax painting Vince I've ever seen.
I know, yeah, he was chilling. He was straight chilling,
and he still got a lot of painting done.
Yeah,
but he was not usual fucking Tasmanian devil with a paintbrush Vince.
Yeah.
I think this is great. I think that this version of Vince was a great version of Vince.
And I want to go toe to toe with peak Vince though.
Yeah,
I love a challenge.
I think the Operation ABP worked, and he was notified of it. Was it like Saturday night or something?
Always be painted. Is that what ABP is? Yeah, I told him about it. I was like, "Here's the deal." I thought you were going to tell him after day one.
I fucking forgot about it. I had cloudy fireball head. I couldn't remember.
It was all the haze.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, you drink a liter and a half of Fireball on a night, see how you feel for the next 4 days. I shit 5 times the next day.
Dude, okay. I shit 5 times the day we left.
Okay, this is a great lead-in to food.
Dude, we abused our bodies, man.
I went, when we got back home, I went 2 full days before I had a regular meal.
2 full days?
Yeah, I was just at little bits. I had a protein shake, or I have just snacking on some beef sticks or whatever, a little bit of carrots and cucumber and stuff. But I was like, I need a full fucking colonoscopy here. I need to get cleansed out, because we ate like kings. And by that, I mean like old-timey, ye old medieval fat as fuck kings.
Yeah, like 16-year-olds,
yes.
But also like kings. See, there was like a box of full-size candy bars.
Yes.
Okay, and when I got to it, which was 1 day late.
Oh, you missed that. That was what they had left from Halloween.
Oh, okay. I was like, these motherfuckers ate all the full-size Snickers and all the full-size other candy bars in 1 day? No, okay, it was Halloween. Okay, got it.
Yeah, because they're the household that gives out a full-size Snickers bar.
Nice.
Or peanut M&Ms or whatever.
Nice.
Yeah, I took a peanut M&Ms at one point, it felt so good. Dude, I love peanut M&Ms.
They're so good. Yeah, there wasn't a giant bag of that floating around.
You're right. Yeah, and at one point I was like, I tried an assassination attempt on Vince, where he was sitting there painting, and I was eating peanut M&Ms, and I put one in my hand. You know, like someone's like, you're like, open up, right? You're gonna catch the popcorn in your mouth. I was like, open up, and he like turns over, and he half does it. And I was like, and he looks at what I had in my hand. It was a peanut M&M, and Vince is allergic to peanuts. I'm like, I'm just kidding, Vince. I can kill you anytime.
Just know this. I can kill you anytime.
Oh man.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
I mean, that's a good thing if you want to like not eat so much fucking amazing chocolatey candy. Is so much of it has peanuts in it.
Yeah, just
be allergic, and then you don't have to worry about that.
Yeah, that's definitely a choice I can make, right? No, it isn't. Anyways, there's a lot of candy, there's a lot of snacks, a lot of chips, a lot of dips, a lot of junk food that I am fucking here for. I love junk food. And then on top of that, Kathy is making us parfaits in the morning, fucking waffles, fucking egg bakes, and then she's making us dinners in the evenings with lovely salted pork. What's that called? Country ham? Is that the name? Country ham, lovely rice, garlicky potatoes, a whole ass motherfucking turkey, and just some Caesar salads. And then also we ate out. You guys got some ramen one day. We ordered pizza another day.
We ate
so much. I couldn't take. If I had one more day, I would have died.
Yeah,
because I went home and I pooped 5 fucking times, 3 of which were at the airport.
That's right. You had some airport near misses.
Yeah, dude.
But you hit that toilet bowl.
Yeah, dude.
That was funny. Then we're gonna get into that whole airport leaving story in a bit, but I want to highlight here. First of all, I never drank regular water for like 4 days, and that was not good. Everything that was put into my body was Mountain Dew, alcohol, and this little thing right here called sparkling ice. Let's turn on to this because at different points in his existence, Vince goes through different liquid consumption like go-tos.
Yeah.
And this is his current go-to. I think what he goes to, he's got this, what is this, Perrier water? What's that fucking water?
Oh.
Bubbly bullshit water?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
In the green bottle. Pellegrino. He's always got that, but then his other options, he's gone from Sobe, he's gone from this like sugar-free lemonade stuff, and now we've gone on to sparkling ice. And I figured out the connection of where and why these change. They all come from Costco, and those things aren't a forever thing. The zero-cal Sobe Life Water isn't sold there anymore. In fact, I don't even know if it's made anymore.
I think Sobe went down, yeah.
So he had to transition from the blueberry pomegranate Sobe Life Water, and we got the sparkling ice, which I bought a case of this the day I got back home, and I went 3 days without caffeine because I had this set. There's no caffeine in it. It's got a little bit of bubs, and it's got 5 calories, 0 sugars, so it's great. And
I'm assuming it has an artificial sweetener in it?
Yeah. You want to try it?
Yeah.
Did you not have one?
No, I'd have any. I was scared because when Sam drank 2 of them, Vince gave him a death stare, and I was okay, these are off limits.
Yeah. So they're good. They're just kind of like Crystal Light with a little bubbly.
Oh, there is carbonation in there.
Yeah.
All right.
But it doesn't have caffeine, and it has like vitamin B12, vitamin B3, vitamin C, a little boost antioxidants, keep your immune system a little bit up.
What's the word on artificial sweeteners? Does those kill you or what?
Well, if they do, I'm already dead. So
yeah, I love how it's like
they don't kill you faster than sugar. I'll tell you that.
I know. I'm such a shitty person. I'm like, what reason can I use to continue drinking 40 grams of sugar a soda? I mean, obviously it's not that bad.
Dude, Diet DP is so good. I don't know why. Here's what you got to do. You got to understand that the first 3 to 5 cans, you're going to be like, and then after that, your mindset of understanding what a Dr. Pepper tastes like will then reset the bar to Diet DP. And Diet DP tastes the same, other than DP is so much overly sweeter. And so you just need, what'll happen is your body will be like, oh, this like not cloyingly level of like make my eyes cross sweetness is the new middle ground. And you will forever go to Diet DP, and your future diabetes self will thank you.
Honestly, I really need to do that at some point. I need to cut out the sugar because I'm not good at controlling myself either, you know? Just like you with Fireball. If I get into a case of fucking Coke or Dr. Pepper, I'm slamming that thing. Although I can't drink like 8 cans a night and like feel nothing like I could when I was like an 18-year-old.
Yeah.
I drink 2 and I feel like shit.
Yeah, you get the gut rot.
Yeah.
Burble gerbil guts.
Yeah, so maybe if I drink Diet, I could drink 6 again.
Yeah.
There's the play. Okay. Yeah, so the food was fantastic. Thank you so much to Kathy for feeding us so well. You are an amazing host.
I will say, I agree. She is an angel that we don't deserve. If we would have just eaten the amazing things she made, we wouldn't have felt like shit.
Yeah.
I don't want to people to get the wrong idea that her amazing, well-balanced, always had vegetables meals were the source of this. It was the everything else we stuffed in our gullets between them.
Yeah. It was definitely self-induced.
Yeah, this is nothing that was could have been avoided.
Yeah.
We just chose not to. Although this time, Sam didn't eat the 17-pound bag of caramel corn and cheese corn by himself in one night. He didn't do that. We helped him out.
We helped him out this time. Yeah.
Like, listen, you're not going to go on that mountain alone, my friend.
Kathy also showed me all of her sick hobby supplies. She basically has a Michaels in her office. She has so many different things that could be used for the hobby. They were incredible. I don't even know where to start because like literally it was like a hobby store in her office. She had every variety, every kind of thing. She had embossing things. She had these weird adhesives that would melt gold pigment to like just straight up like liquid gold. Like there were so many things, and she just makes cards like in her spare time that she then sends out for like
cards and stuff.
Yeah, like by hand. They're incredible. I think I got one, you got one.
Yeah, I think she might make Christmas ornaments, like little, almost like origami Christmas ornament things.
She does
and
scarves,
she does knittings, various knittings and yarnings.
Various knittings.
Yeah, because so I call them yarnings because
nice.
My wife does those same kinds of things, and I don't know if it's crocheted or if it's knitted or if it's like, I don't know. There's a couple other ones, and so I just call them yarnings, and it's my all-encompassing umbrella term of using some form of yarn to use your magic fingers on, and it makes it into a thing.
Magic needles.
Yeah. So the weird thing is with that, because she is a Joann Fabrics gal, Kathy. You know, everything Joann Fabrics, you go in there and there's just shit on shit for crafting.
Yeah, dude.
She is all about that.
Craftaholic.
That was my whole fucking upbringing. That's my mom. Like, my mom has an entire room that is all crafting and quilting and knitting and all sorts of crazy shit. And that's where I was like, when she showed me that stuff too, and I was like, yeah, I understand this way of life.
Do you think that crafty nature inspired your love of miniature painting? In a small way or a large way?
Yeah, 100%. I remember as a kid. Oh God, this is a fucking nerdy story. Okay, I remember as a kid, I loved GI Joes.
So did I.
GI Joes were the smaller size, right? Ninja Turtles were bigger, He-Man were bigger, Transformers was bigger, but GI Joe was just like the right size. And I was like, I like the smaller guys better. Now I kind of come to think of it as like, I like the smaller miniatures, and it's kind of weird. But anyway, I remember working with my mom. And she did all the sewing on this. And she made like sword hilts that they would put around their chest, and had a little fabric sword hilt, and so the fucking Snake Eyes katana could slide into the back.
Bro.
Yeah, and little fucking belts with holsters. Always for swords. I know that G.I. Joes and shit, they had guns and stuff, but everything was for swords, because only the ninjas were the cool guys anyway. Storm Shadow and Snake Eyes.
Yeah.
Ride or die. That's it. So I recall it as like little tiny action figures, customizing to make them little tiny sword sheaths. And I just thought, I can distinctly remember in my head, 35 years later, I can picture that as a very distinct memory. I'm like, if that was something that was like so ingrained in me as a kid, it has to translate.
Yeah.
Like,
dude, that's so cool. Your mom was doing like a hobby that exists now in a big way before it was really a thing. People take action figures and they modify them.
Yeah.
They change their joints. They give them fabric capes. They give them all these extra bits. They repaint them. Yeah. So she was doing that before. It was cool.
I also, to my G.I. Joes, if you didn't know this, G.I. Joes are pretty modular in that they have one screw in their back. If you unscrew that, inside there is a rubber O-ring, and that connects to all the ball joints in the head, arms, and legs. Oh. If you undo that, you can take all the parts apart. And I would take my G.I. Joes and I'd form different G.I. Joes with the various parts to make cooler looking ones. So like, a third of my G.I. Joes are way more fucking badass than they were when they came in the box. Because I would take them apart, you'd reposition them, put that O-ring back on, close the chest up on the back, and screw it together, and you get different looking dudes.
I did not know that.
I didn't realize that at the time. I fucking loved doing that. Once I figured out how to do that, that's how I spent half my time doing, was kit bashing my G.I. Joes. Shit. Why did I jump? This is the thing. If I was fucking from, like, I don't know, Nottingham or other areas in New Britain.
New Britain.
That's what's his nuts? That prime minister. He used to try to call it New Britain. Tony Blair, I think. Yeah, anyway, I would like where Golden Demon and Games Workshop and all that shit was the thing,
was popping. Yeah,
I would have been in on that the second I was exposed to it. I didn't even know any of that existed, and so, damn it. All right, we're so off topic.
My potential,
unlocked potential. Better late than never, though, right?
Anything else from VincyCon that you want to talk about?
I just have a note here that says John doesn't snore.
Oh my! You are so fucking lucky. I do not have my actual phone on me right now. So yeah, whenever you've told me this, I don't know if it's true, but whenever you do a little heavy drinking, you tend to snore more.
Yes.
So I experienced this in England, and I experienced this at Adepticon, and I experienced this night three of VincyCon.
Yeah, because night 2 I had to take a
break.
easy.
Yeah, and so we were good. Am I doing anything dumb in the night? Am I like smacking you in the face with my arms?
Oh, dude, you are fucking Gumby. Like you. That's the other thing that I can't sleep for shit. And it's not you. It's not necessarily you. I don't like sleeping.
I like how you went from I'm Gumby to it's not you to it's not necessarily you.
I had the same thing with sleeping with Sexy Teeth Joshi and Adopticon. The beds are just small enough that you're right next to the other dude. And Joshi, fucking rain or shine, sleeps facing the middle with his head right on the fucking midline.
Just breathing on you.
Snoring like a motherfucker.
Yeah.
So I don't even know that I snore. And I just assume when you hear snoring that coming from our bed, it's Joshi, but it could be both of us, could be me. You sleep like your fucking limbs can just fucking like go over my goddamn knees, or like you just touch me at random times in the night. And I was like, sometimes I'm hoping a large percentage of the time I just don't wake up, but a large percentage of the time I do wake up. And it's sometimes you just do it, and then it wakes me up, like, and then you're like, yeah, and you move back. It's just like it never happened. Yeah, you're just like sleep like you're on a fucking marshmallow, and nothing is wrong in the world. And you have this little smile on your face. Yeah, dude. You're just so happy to be cozy, sleepy.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's not snoring like a motherfucker. So,
dude, you were snoring. Holy! And the thing is, it didn't follow a rhythm. You know, it was random, and you would like jolt. You would be like, and I'd be like, oh my god! I'd be like, I'd be kind of drifting away.
Oh, that means I'm not. That means I'm not breathing. Yeah, that's not a good thing.
Yeah, some people were like, that sounds like sleep apnea. It's like, I mean, maybe can you experience sleep apnea like only when you like consume certain like things, or is it? I thought it would be like an all or nothing kind of thing.
Yeah. I snore. My wife can attest to this.
Yeah, but I recorded it just for posterity because I could not sleep. I had to leave and go in the living room and sleep on the recliner because it was so tumultuous.
Oh, Sarah, I told Sarah that, and she's like, "You should just had him do what I do," and she hits me.
Oh, I didn't want to hit you. I didn't want to like wake you up.
No, it's fine because she hits me and she says you're snoring really loud, and then I just turn over to my other side, and then I go back to sleep, and she says he just needs to hit you and wake you up.
All right. I mean, if I have your permission, I will.
Yeah, I don't want you to not sleep well.
Oh, I slept fine. I slept all the way until like 3 a.m. and then I woke up from that, and then I was like, okay, dealt with it for like 20 minutes, and then just.
Yeah, it's not going to get better.
Right, yeah. And then I slept fine on the chair.
Okay.
We were all so exhausted from any number of, like, just staying up until 5 in the morning, waking up at, like, 8 or 9 or 10. So it was easy to fall asleep.
Yeah, sleep, that was the biggest thing that caught up to me over the course of that many days. It's like the lack of sleep. Because I don't typically sleep well in the first place outside of my own house, and then you add another grown-ass man in the bed, and it's like, oh, that expands it, and all that kind of stuff.
Gumby limbs.
He fucking catches up to me.
Yeah.
That's all we got for VincyCon recap.
That's all we got.
Let's quickly jump over to kind of a quick year in review. 2022, Trapped Under Plastic. So, what were some of the big things that you can recall, whether obvious things or whether just something for you from this last year?
Obvious things, new space.
Yeah, the studio. That's a biggie.
New fancy situation. Man, I feel like I said the exact same goddamn thing every single year in review. It's just like, I don't know. I want to make this podcast better. I always want to make everything I make better all the time.
Yeah.
I just don't know how to do it with a podcast because I don't engage in the medium at all. So I kind of rely on you to kind of steer our ship like feature wise, which you definitely do. So I just don't know. Like if you have suggestions for how we can take this to the next level, and it's like not like super time consuming, like I would love to hear those suggestions because I always read like all the comments from when we do an episode like this, and we get like suggestions. Took on a writer, like officially, paying him. Took on an editor officially, paying him. Yeah, we're turning into a real operation here, good peepees.
Don't be don't be thinking that when we say that means we are like making a buttload of money off this podcast, but we are reinvesting it in the podcast. That's a big thing. Is we had discussion this year about like what we can do to continue the quality, improve the quality of the podcast while not directly requiring a 1-to-1 more hours between both of us.
Right, yeah.
So we're already so strapped for time, but we prioritize this podcast because it's so fun. It's one of the funnest days of my month in regards to work is the recording days.
Yeah.
It's also a nice little like a change of pace from our usual routine of.
It's a good end cap,
Yeah.
It's chill. There's not a ton of planning that goes into it. Not a lot of orchestration. So it's kind of just like sit down and have a conversation.
Yeah,
it's really
and I want that to be like the continuation, right? We want to do that, and in order for us to do that, maybe it's taking off some burden from the editing side, taking off some burden of like finding the news items, and this is where James comes in, finding the news items, helping us write the scripts for the ad spots, just going through and finding the stuff for our after party, for patron critiques, helping us come up with ideas for video or topics for shows, or highlighting good ones that the patrons submit, and it just another person for us to bounce off of that has a totally different perspective than us, but is also a hobby nerd.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, it's definitely nice that he is involved in the hobby because he has that unique and applicable perspective about things, like, and he puts those in the news items as well, and it's always fun to read those and include those.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, I think this year, making the change over the new studio, first of all, it feels really cool. It felt weird at the beginning, and now this feels like the norm now. Like this feels right, which is great. When I look at other podcasts about what makes them successful and what really works, I don't think there's this big checklist of things from a tech perspective, from a staff perspective, from a logistics perspective that we're missing.
Right.
And I think this is where, over this year particularly, I felt like we got our footing more than ever before. We knew what the recipe was about what we just wanted to do. And this year was about trying to tune in to shed everything else and get ourselves in a position by the end of 2022 where we can just keep focusing on the things that matter. And then having the experience of the first TUP Live was this year.
Yeah, shit. Wait, it was? Oh, in March. Yeah, man, that was so long ago.
Yeah.
That's true. And then the next one's going to be next year.
Yeah, we're going to have, before we know it, we're going to have 2 more TUP Lives, assuming we can get a fucking room in Adepticon. I swear to fucking Christ, could people just... I mean, last I heard, there was still hadn't had 100% confirmation. We got pushed over to the right guy to talk to, but I don't know if at least...
Oh, okay. Got you. Okay, I thought you meant for our hotel room.
No.
I was like, we already did that, I thought.
A room for TUP Live.
And I fucking panicked. Okay, yeah, Greg, I can't remember his last name. He did get emailed, but I don't know what happened with that. I'll have to look into that again.
Yeah. I mean... We just want to fucking do a thing in a room at your place where everybody already is. It's not going to cost you any more time, effort, and energy. We just, or it's going to be a fucking underground. Okay.
We're going to do it in Fort Wapple.
Little Guy Fawkes action here, motherfuckers.
We're going to burn down the building. No, we're not going to do that.
And we're going to find a place. And then you're going to bitch at us because we put too many people in a small room. Well, we want
the big room.
Give us the big room, Lebowski. Or we fox you up. Yeah. So we're going to be at LVO with TUP Live. And like, this is where I'm feeling like, like where are areas to spread our wings a little bit more or whatever. And like doing shows like this and just that kind of thing when we have the opportunity, right? Where we're already going to be somewhere or whatever.
Yeah.
It's fun. And those are great because we don't have to worry about a topic. It's like, hello, people.
Hello, the people.
Can you ask the question and we will answer it?
Yeah. Yeah. That's easy. That's just easy content right there.
Because people have way fucking funny, unique, and weird questions.
Yeah, I was thinking about that, and I was like, maybe it'd be interesting to like kind of flirt with the idea of a Q&A section. Like, not that our episodes are already overloaded as is. Maybe like subbing one of them out for a Q&A section where we could just get questions from our Facebook group or something like that.
I know a handful of podcasts that are in a kind of a similar setup or organization state as ours. They're two people that they do at least once a quarter. They do a whole Q&A episode. Their episode is just collected questions from either the comment section or from Patreon or from wherever. And then it's just them going through and answering some fun questions. I think that's probably a nicer way to do it because you have one time and we get James to go through and just sift through and come out with like 10, 15 questions as opposed to having to do it we're doing more logistics talk with you guys right now, but like instead of having to do it every single week. But,
yeah, sure. Absolutely.
I mean, either way, maybe when we try a little column A, we try a little bit of lemon meringue and then we find out
lemon meringue's best.
Yeah, lemon meringue. I think you like that tart tang.
I love tarty, sweet, fruity cakes and pies, man.
Oh,
I'm a sucker.
2 weeks ago, I had the first key lime pie of my life.
Was it good or was it bad? Because they're not always great.
It was solid. It was. I don't have anything to compare to, but I could see where it could be fucking phenomenal. But it was like a 7 out of 10. Okay. Like if I'm gonna have desserts, though,
You're a chocolate man.
Yeah, it's like give me that fucking ding dong. Give me that Oreo cakester. Psych, those suck. But I would take an Oreo cakester over like a fucking lemon popsicle.
Yeah, that's definitely kind of lame.
Don't get me wrong. I like a little Twinkie too. You know, that's the thing. Oh, what else did I write down? Speaking of food, I wrote down more things.
If you have any feedback for the podcast or any comments about season 3 as it related to the prior seasons, we'd love to hear them as well. So leave them in the Facebook group, leave them in the comment section below. Maybe what would be wise is we could make a post in our own Facebook group for them to comment on.
Yeah.
So we'll do that. We'll do that.
We can do that.
What were the other things in your doc?
Also in the comments. But because we sometimes too, in the discussions you and I have, it's a little bit harder to see the forest through the trees on what are the things that people appreciate or like, why the hell do you guys keep listening? That's weird.
Yeah.
As opposed to what we think is valuable. And so it's just good one for reinforcement if we're not sure. We're like, well, we think that they just like us talking about farts and stuff, but we're not sure. And then people say that, yeah, we like the farts. Give us more farts.
Yeah, we want. Yeah, give us the farts.
then we'll know. And they're like, oh, we don't give a shit about painting minis in your podcast. Like, oh shit.
Oh no.
The other thing I had was another year in review retrospective. We ate more treats brought to us from around the world.
We did. That is fun.
We got treats from Mexico this year. We got treats from Hawaii this year. We got treats from England this year. We got treats from Australia this year, I think.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember where the Vegemite was. It Vegemite or was it the other one?
That was Australia. Yes, it's from Marmite.
Marmite's from England. Vegemite is from.
Yeah, it's Vegemite. It was Aussie.
Okay.
We got Aussie candy, and we got German candy.
I think that was the prior season.
That might have been. Yeah, that was. I had to put myself a little question mark on that one. And the Australian one, I couldn't remember this year last. But you get lumped in as part of the wonderful candies of the world. Treats of the world that are we have now tasted. It's not as good as going to Australia, Germany, England, or Mexico. But
this is the other quarterly thing we're going to do. It's called Candies of the World.
Where we just sit. Somebody did say that to me. Who was it? They're like, oh, it was in the interview that I did for Heresy for Heretics. And a lot of things he talked about. Like he must love the podcast because he's making references. I was like, someone's hitting me without references. And I didn't see it coming. But he asked, like, in seriousness, when are you going to do just straight up food reviews, food episodes only focused on that? And I was like, I mean, we could.
It's like, do you want to hear that? It's so weird. I know people don't want to hear. They don't want to hear about our TV show ideas, okay?
Ooh.
Our opinions are bad.
Yeah. What TV shows to watch? I watched the first episode of Willow.
Okay, did you finish it?
Yes, I finished it.
Did you get better?
It fucking sucks.
Oh, shit.
It's totally Disney Channel TV show, like I could just feel that fucking ooze of Disney Channel teenage kids.
Are they so fucking annoying?
Yeah, fucking joke.
Oh God, dude.
We're gonna still watch it. There's only currently 4 episodes out. I think first season will only totally be 8. I will watch the whole thing because just at the very end, does fucking Willow come in, and maybe he'll fucking bring this son of a bitch out of a nosedive. But I fucking hate this Disney wholesome jokey joke. Fucking nerd, like God, these kids. And I'm like,
you just said a bunch of non-words right there.
Why did you do this? God damn it. Okay, maybe it'll get better. Like, and it's like you just take it with like, oh, it's just kind of a fun, like fantasy, nothing too serious. Even though I gets fucking shot in the chest with an arrow. Douche. Guy you thought was like a secondary character, shot in the chest with the arrow, falls off his horse, dead. They turn over to the rest of the crew that are also on horses.
Spoilers.
You don't know when it's going to happen or who it is. Okay, that's my caveat. They look over to the other, like camera pan over to the other kids, and the other's like, "I guess we better go." Like, the fuck is this,
bro? That reminds me so much. Just taking the piss like that, making the situation a joke, reminds me so much of Star Wars Episode 8. I just rewatched it. And the movie opens up with a yo mama joke. And it's just like, way to make the villains just seem like a bunch of dumbasses. Like, I fucking hated that movie so much. Okay, I'm sad to hear that it gets maybe even worse.
I mean, see it through. I'm gonna give her a good 3 episodes. It's no True Detective season 1, but
yeah, dude, that movie started out with a bang.
Yeah.
Sorry, not movie, show. Basically a movie that's like 15 hours long.
Exactly. We need more of those.
We do.
I think that's all we got. We're okay. We didn't say we're gonna take just a slight.
Oh yes,
a slight break. Not like right now recording, but like between season 3 and season 4.
See ya
later. So is our first episode gonna be LVO? No, I think we're gonna do one before then.
Yes, I think that is possible. I don't really know how the order of things are going to go, but I'm going to guess we're going to record one here, record one there, probably soon thereafter, and then have it kind of stacked up to release.
Yep. So just because we're coming up on the holiday season. And so basically, we're hitting basically right in Christmas time for us for when we record next. And at the end of the season, we're going to take a little break. Just one episode off. So from when this episode goes live, it will be not 2 weeks, but 4, until your next kickoff of TUP season 4. And I'm assuming we're gonna have, for the kickoff, we're gonna have fireworks. We're gonna have hot chip challenge, 1 chip challenge. We're going to see how many Eldars we can burn in 30 minutes or less. We're gonna do a lot of clickbaity ideas, and that's how we're gonna do it. So, yeah, I think that's gonna wrap us up for the main topic, the last main topic of TUP season 3, and here's to at least 3 more seasons.
At least 3 more.
Yeah.
Out of the news.
No.
We have a lot of fucking news items. Number 1 on the list here: Henry Cavill on a 40K show on Amazon? ?
Yeah, this just popped as of this recording. Just last night I found this out. It'll be probably old news by the time y'all hear this, but not that old news. Maybe it's going to be gaining even more steam over the next 5 days or so. But he released, or his people released, or whatever. It was an official release that they're just like finalizing the IP use is what the term that I heard. And I was like, oh, fucking A, get the GW lawyers involved in all this. You let everybody and their sister make shitty video games of your IP. Can't you let somebody make, that'd be hilarious. Like they allow him to do it, but it can only be released on Warhammer Plus. Dude,
I mean, that would get sales.
They would fucking love that.
Yeah.
Like you couldn't afford it, GW. You couldn't afford it.
No. Okay, so the opening sentence of this article is: the streaming giant is in the process of closing the rights to the miniature war game. That's it. They're going to buy Games Workshop. Sick.
Amazon.
So you're telling me that he is an executive producer and starring in this series?
Yeah.
All right. Amazon has secured the rights to the game, produced by... No, they haven't. Article.
Yeah.
After
a show on the game.
Yeah. This is envisioned as a potential film and TV play. So, okay, they got some kind of rights to something and are going to make potentially a movie or a TV show. According to this article, is that one moment.
This is probably so far out.
Yeah, this is like 3 years away.
Yeah, like you can't even do anything until you get all this shit.
Yeah. So everyone went crazy about that. All the fanboys are like coming in their pants because they're like, "Oh, finally, Emperor Daddy Cavill." Anyways,
the other night I saw a film. I do recall it was a horror film. Jizz in my pants. I see Henry Cavill on the TV and I jizz in my pants.
Classic, bro. Love some Lonely Island. GW asking for votes on Mini of the Year. They do this once a year, as is the title suggests. Big list recommending Control.
It's like every
F5.
fucking hero mini.
Yeah,
it's every model. And then their big thing was, "Oh, you can't vote for the crab this year," because everyone fucking spam voted for the crab last year, and
they didn't like being
shocker.
Trolled.
Yeah, shocker. He won, and they didn't like the result, so they didn't give him a place
at all.
Nope. Because it's like, well, we can't when we put all the marketing, we put all the marketing out for all of this and like showcase with the best model of the year, we can't have it be a little fucking weird crap. People aren't gonna think our game is cool then.
Okay.
So all of this is fucking just a face service. It's not even. It doesn't matter. I mean,
it's fun. If you like to be involved in it, like it's there for you to try out.
Yeah.
But it is just more...
I'm sure they're not doctoring it entirely. You know, it's like Sigvald versus Abaddon or whatever. Whichever one wins, they're going to let it win. But
yeah, rip the crab, though.
We want to do quick... let me click on it real quick. Do we want to quick give ours?
Our favorite mini from GW of the year?
Yeah.
There's far too many for me to actually know.
I would do quick scroll. Okay, how about this? We'll time it. You get... come on, accept cookies. Okay, 15 seconds. Ready?
What do I go on? Vote now?
Oh, wait. Yeah. Where do I see them all?
Oh my, there's no fucking pictures? I have to go look this shit up?
Are you shitting me? You've got
I don't know what any of this shit is.
Made themselves. What is this? They have pictures for the one of the month. Okay, this is this.
Oh, I got it. Gnarlwood. Easy. Done.
No, what's a Gnarlwood?
Gnarlwood is the fucking Underworlds box, I think, that comes with those fancy skeleton boys.
Oh yeah,
it's a winner right there.
Yeah, never mind. I look at these and I don't give a fuck. Yeah, it would be something from either. Oh, it's like it's not even a particular fucking model. It's a Warhammer Age of Sigmar Slaves to Darkness army set.
It's a box set. All right. While you look through this list, I'll go on to the next news item. So. We got a news item here about Darkstar molten metal paints. I have some Darkstar metal paints. I don't know if they're this new thing. They're now only available in North America. And from Impending Duff, the paint line claims that they are, quote, permanent when dry, and there is no need for gloss varnish as our metals stay bright and glossy and will not tarnish over time. Once fully dry, approximately 24 hours, they can be carefully polished to further improve the shine, end quote. This is a direct quote from the product webpage. So they allow polishing, which to me suggests that maybe there is some kind of metal pigment in them. Because I know with prop making, they have this idea called cold casting, where you will... put a layer of metal pigments and resin on the outside of your object. It's supposed to be metal, and then cast the rest in resin. So when you polish that outer layer, it looks metal. That's interesting. I don't know anything about that. Proceed with caution. Okay, what's the best kit?
This is fucking easy. As soon as I came across it, I can't believe it's on here. Better win. Warhammer Age of Sigmar, Soulblight Gravelords, Kador Ezekiar.
Ah, yes. Not bad.
Boom, baby.
Boom, baby.
That's a completely biased take because vampires are fucking awesome and he's the best vampire that they've ever made.
Is he? His head is. But man, that guy from Underworlds is pretty slick. But his face sucks.
All four of their faces are unideal. I think that my favorite of those four is the chick with the big hair.
Yeah.
I agree that this. I wish this guy had less fucking cape covering everything.
Yeah.
But his pose is sweet. His big fucking sword is sweet. His face is a fucking baller.
His face is great. Yeah. Love that ponytail.
He's the winner. Next, I'm sure some bullshit from 40K will win, so it doesn't matter.
I'm skipping over. Oh, let's go to this one, dude. The fucking GW previews Boxing Day miniature, that Abhorrent King.
Oh, boring.
Crown of Delusion.
Dude on shitter.
Dude, that model's got some problems, bro.
Yeah, that dude on shitter is just... Like, why is he looking like he's in a fucking porta potty? He's trying to like get out a steamy dump. He's holding the sword. It's like his whole pose is weird.
Yeah.
The
torso is so fucking big. It just does not look to proportion at all.
Like they've done dude on chair or dude on throne well before, but it's not easy to pull off. And it was the Night Haunt guy. What's his name? But he's on a throne, and he's like holding the giant mace. He's a big fucking mace. He's holding with one hand. And he's just kind of like slouched in the chair, but this like regal slouch.
Oh yeah,
and that was cool. But this was like, we got to fit it on a 32 mil base, so everything is with this dude, this Flesh Eater Court dude. So everything feels so like squished and condensed and blocky, and the chair itself just it makes everything just like there's no, I don't know. I don't like it.
It's not a good model. It's not a good model.
It's a cool looking king, dude. It's just though everything about it, I'm just not a big fan.
Not a big fan.
Let's see what else.
By the way, James finds a lot more news items than the ones we discussed, as you can probably tell as we're kind of leafing through this. But my editor puts all of them into the description. So if you want more of a comprehensive look at a lot of like new releases and stuff for various games, they'll be down in the description below.
Oh, that's sweet. That's a good idea. He does all his work. Like,
might as well put it out there.
Yeah, you want to find. So Joytoy has full reveals for their new Ultramarines and Black Templars, joining their already released figures and new images coming up from the Orcs action figures on their Facebook page. So Joytoy, I saw those for the first time because the source carries them now.
Yes.
And I had not seen them before. First of all, they're not cheap. Second of all, they were like $60.
Fuck.
Yeah, I could be wrong on that, but I remember being sizably more. But I also like they're not like the big fucking McFarlane. Those just feel a little bit more action figure-y, silly to me. These ones are like more. There's more dynamic posing. There's more like it just feels like a cooler. It's almost like a model kit of a Space Marine.
Yeah.
Feel.
Is that the unpainted one or the painted one? The $50 one.
I don't know. I guess I didn't even know if they were painted or not.
Okay, yeah. Some come gray, some come painted.
Okay, interesting.
We got Iron Painter releasing another Gamemaster product. I don't know if you got like their terrain crafting thing in a box. It comes with foam, a hot wire cutter, flocking, rocks, paint, and that shit. So that's Gamemaster. This is called the Character Paint Set. It includes 19 paints, 5 Snap Fit minis, and a starter brush, and a how-to guide for 50 buckaroonies. $50, 19 paints, primer, 5 models, a brush.
Okay.
That seems fucking okay.
Yeah. No, I mean, they've always aggressively priced their kits of what you get for stuff.
Yeah.
And this feels like it falls right in line with that. And this is kind of in their game, their line that's like kind of more D&D focused, more like terrain and world building and less paint by number kind of thing. But like to get people that are into role-playing games as well. But also, if you're into more of the miniature wargaming and stuff, like keeping it out for these kind of things, sometimes you can find good deals and stuff that isn't maybe 100% directed at you. It's all pretty much the same hobby.
Okay.
Last thing I want to talk about, I saw this article on Warhammer Community the other day, and I kind of lost my mind for a second. They tried to be funny, I think.
I couldn't tell, honestly.
It's an article it's called Games Workshop Busts 7 Painting Myths. And
myths that we fabricated so we could get across a point.
Yeah, and some of them are, like, they're so fucking lobbed over the fucking net to just be like, this obviously isn't controversial, and we just want you to know that you're never too old to start painting.
Who the fuck is saying that you are?
Yeah, like who's like sitting over the fence being like, hey, old man, you can't fucking paint, go home.
Yeah, he's like some fucking bully from like a 2000s movie.
Okay.
You have to have talent to be a good painter.
False.
Who?
Okay, so I want to mention a couple of these that chat my ass. First one that says, you have to undercoat your miniatures with a spray can. Here's their response. So if they say false, you don't have to undercoat your miniatures with a spray can. Their response: spray cans are certainly the best way to prime your models because they are quick and easy way to get down a base layer. Okay, that's it. It continues for 3 more sentences. In the remainder of the 3 sentences, they never say the word
airbrush.
They do not acknowledge an airbrush exists. They also say cans are certainly the best way to prime your models. Are you fucking insane? Yeah. You're saying that you're dispelling myths, and you're just putting more myths out into the world that aren't fucking true.
So we will say, I'll say that it's kind of up for debate, right? If speed is your thing, obviously spray cans are there and good for you. But like, you're just avoiding this whole other world of like ways people prime models that definitely competes with spray cans for many other reasons. Yeah. So that's hilarious. But also they go on to say that you can just paint the model unprimed. Again, that's still fine, but like, talk about like you can paint on gesso primer and that shrinks up really nicely. Like nothing is mentioned here other than if you don't got spray cans, just paint the model without primer.
All right, second. So there's a couple more here that are all equally stupid. Like you have to paint the models just like the box art. False. No, really. This is supposed to probably be a lighthearted joke in a futile attempt at humor, but also like trying to give some actual helpful advice.
Yeah, some of it's encouraging, but also it's just like it's contrived. Like you're forcing these things that no one's saying, really.
Yeah, and doing it in an article, I feel is like not the correct medium to have these kinds of messages. Like if you did this in a video, I feel like you could do it with more, where there's more context and you have more control over how you're trying to get across these points that you're trying to get across.
Here's why you're wrong.
I disagree. I think the article is fine. And also, not to totally shit on them, there are some fine things in here that are good. Like, they encourage you to not paint models like the box art, which is, that's kind of impressive. They're kind of always by the numbers. And also, they're encouraging you to enter competitions for painting. Yeah. Those things are fine. But the other things are just a little wacky.
Licking your brush. And the last one on here, licking your brush makes you a better painter.
Obviously, this is true.
Yeah, obviously, this is true.
Obviously, everyone says this.
Yes, and so let's move on because it's true.
That's it. That's
they say false. Don't lick your brushes. You never know where Nurgle lurks. To get the point back on your brushes after cleaning them, use your fingers and gently pull the brush through them to get that precise tip back, helping you keep your highlights super sharp.
Who actually pulls on the brush with their fingers?
I can't even picture what the fuck they're asking you to do there.
Just roll the bristles like on your hand, on your wet palette, or on your paper, like water, paper towel. Don't pull the brushes. That's so weird.
Also like, don't lick your brush, but fucking lick your brush.
Do whatever you want to do.
Yeah, do what makes you happy and makes you comfortable. Yeah. So you don't feel awkward.
We don't know what may or may not happen to you from doing that. So,
if I get
proceed at your own caution. What?
If I get fucking tongue cancer from licking these,
it's on you, bro.
Licking these paints, I'll be the first to let y'all know.
Yeah, he's gonna make a fucking video about it. Obviously, it's gonna get 1 million views.
Licking my brush gave me cancer.
Yeah. 100%.
God damn it.
Gotta get 1 million
video
views.
title.
But it ain't worth getting cancer, so.
You don't actually have to get cancer to make that video, though, Scott. This is the internet.
You heard it here first. This is how clickbait starts.
Yeah, then I do get cancer, and I'll be like, no, I actually do have it.
Yeah, I know, right? You're the boy who cried wolf right now.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, well, that's the last of our newsy news.
Welcome to the end of the podcast. Thank you so much for hanging out all the way to the end, listening to us chat on. We appreciate your ears a lot.
Yeah, so all the way through season 3 too.
Yeah, all the way. You were here the entire time.
I just saw a post on the Trapped Under Fastic Facebook group, which if you haven't joined yet, fucking join, baby, because there's more room in the boat for you, dude. This Titanic is not yet filled,
dude. No, yeah, it ain't sunk yet either. It's at least half minis and half tendies. So.
Yeah. It's we hit 15,000 members in that group this last week.
Jesus Christ.
And a funny post. I go there and check it all the time because we got a lot of goody peepees up in there. And gentlemen, I'm sorry, I can't remember your name when you posted this, and he's like, I'm depressed. I found Trapped Under Plastic like X months ago, and I started at the beginning, and I just caught up, Now I have to wait 2 weeks like the rest of you plebs. I was like, oh, first of all, good on you for going back, right? Yeah. And listening, but also thank you for that. But
I find that podcasts are way more conducive to that than a YouTube channel. I guess I have it more, which makes no sense to me because they're the same kind of thing in my head. Mm-hmm. Well, I guess maybe this is more of a show, and YouTube videos are more kind of like one-offs.
Yeah,
it can be perceived that way. Maybe
I think a lot of it has to do what's the content on, or the stuff that we talk about, other than like the news or whatever. Like it's fairly evergreen in terms of whatever weird shit we're doing or thinking of or whatever.
Sure.
But like I listen to fantasy football podcasts, and they're immediately obsolete as soon as that week of the football season is over.
Okay.
They're just talking about the matchups and blah blah blah. You all don't need to know sports ball stuff, but
sports ball.
Yeah, they are dead as soon as they're hit the round grunting. I'm all out of words because I haven't eaten
in 5 days since VincyCon.
I'm starving.
If you guys like the podcast and you want to support it, you can do that in a number of ways, both free and not free. Some of the free ways are whitelisting our channel on YouTube. We run ads once every 30 minutes, and you can do that with a number of browser plugins on Chrome. You can whitelist various channels that you want to support. You can also tell your nerd friends, your dog, your mom, your grandma, but make sure you when you email the podcast to your grandma, make sure you talk to her that she listened to it, because it can be a little challenging sometimes. Podcasts are weird. Okay, we want to make sure Grammy's on board. Okay, you can also do it in non-free ways, like by buying our merch down in the description from our Teespring store. Becoming a patron will get you access to an extended episode where you get to hear things like new things we tried out in the hobby and explored, models that we critique from our patrons, and also models that we love from other painters. It's about 20-30 minutes of extra content. Also, as a patron, you can supply topics for us to discuss. We grab those every once in a while, and we'll credit you when we grab one.
God, that was so good. Make sure you put down there the Trapped Under Plastic, the podcast that blank blank blank. Put those in the.
Oh, we always love those. Yeah,
because we pick one of those to start every time, and then I always forget that after we say it, Trapped Under Plastic, the blah blah blah. Then we say bye so and so. I always forget to say.
Oh no, the picture appears on the screen so you can see who said it.
Oh, good. So people will make that step. I don't need to spell it all out for them.
I think people have eyes. Yeah.
Okay, but if they are listening to this,
they wouldn't know.
Then they wouldn't know. But you could go, if you're listening to this and you have I have a really good tagline for the next episode. You just hop over to the YouTubes and put it in the comment section there.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Well, that's it for season 3, Trapped Under Plastic. That's it for VincyCon December 2022. That's it for
John's life.
If only I would have.
Why you're wrong.
Wait, fuck, that was the wrong one. Okay, there it is.
That was what went off in my head when Adam threw that fucking X-Acto blade at me. It all was like flashing before my eyes. If I'm going down, I'm shoving peanuts down Vince's throat. I'm not going down. I'm not going on this sweet night alone. I'm selfish like that. Look, we're gonna cross river Styx together, Vince, whether you like it or not.
wait, fucking, we didn't talk about goddamn sassafras and whorehound toothpaste candies with 2 whorehound based candies in your eyes. He's the whorehound assassin, fucking tit liquid.
Tit liquid. Oh no! Yeah, this is like the special offtakes of an episode when just the real bad stuff comes out at the end. If you were lucky enough to stick around to the end. Tit liquid. Yeah. Hide your women and children. I'm an assassin that doesn't give up over anything.
Yeah. You cannot stop me from my dark purpose, or like whatever it was.
Oh man. Yeah, that was a good one. I felt like that video hit home for me. Like I didn't quite understand what was happening because I didn't get the premise of what this videos were.
Right,
these guys that do podcasts. But halfway through that, I was like, "This is 100% me."
Yeah.
I would love to do this. Tit liquid. Just throw that term into YouTube. Don't throw it into the general internets.
Yeah.
And just you'll watch a video of these guys.
This is a great description. They'll find it for sure.
You'll find it for sure. That's it. For now, we will see you in not one fortnight, but deuce. And until then, we'll catch you on the
Flippity flop.